The feeding frenzy has begun in the National Football League. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button, and it's going to be a big one today. And we may be reporting deals being done as we speak because it's been going on all day long, and it has been, without a doubt, it has been really big, and it has really been like a lot of numbers, and a lot has gone on since really last Thursday when you saw that Max Crosby deal potentially coming down the pike here. And then you're seeing those two number ones going to the Raiders. And no question about it here. Welcome aboard. Please hit the like button. Jordan Davis gets a 3-year contract extension. We'll talk about that here in a minute. The Eagles seemingly are punting on Jalen Carter. And you lose Jalen Phillips. So let's start it out with this. The Jordan Davis deal. 3 years, $78 million, $65 million, 26 per. Played 87 snaps on third down. Man, that's a lot of money for a guy you pull off the field. He is not a 3-down guy. And I do believe he had a really good year a year ago. But man, is that a lot of money? And I have to put this into context here too as well. You got to remember something here. The cap is at 301.2. So you're going to see really good players being paid exceptional money. So you've got to put that into context. So I think he played really well last year. He had a really good season, no doubt. But he played 87 snaps on third down. That means you take him off the field on third down, which is called the money down. Davis, in 2025, played 686 snaps. Had 4.5. Moro Jomo had 170 snaps on third down, and Jalen Carter had 142 snaps on third down. $26 million for a guy you yank off the field. Little rich. I mean, he's not in Dexter Lawrence's league. He could be one day, maybe. I still think that run defense a year ago was a little suspect, but it was okay. It wasn't bad. I thought, like I said, he was in shape. And it really goes back to the 2024 year when he started getting his act in shape. So he's gone from 2000. This wasn't just an overnight thing in 2025. You know, he'd been working at his weight and getting better. And I think without a doubt, Clint Hurtt has made a massive impact on his life. Says, I wanted Phillips, but I'm not paying him $30 million a year. We're going to get to that one here in a minute. And we'll go back and forth on the Jordan Davis deal. But for me, good for him. $26 million. Let's see if he plays into the contract. Okay? All right. So let's go to the Jalen Phillips. I told you guys, you were not re-signing this guy. You were not re-signing him. I have been steadfast on that. You were not re-signing him. Drew Rosenhaus represents Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan played in the NFL, and Dan Morgan's agent is Drew Rosenhaus. I'll give you some of the particulars. That deal was finished on Saturday. They had the Carolina deal finished on Saturday. Drew Rosenhaus gave the Eagles until Monday morning to come up to 30 plus. They didn't want to. He signed with Carolina. We lost our third string quarterback, our wide receiver to the Falcons. Replaceable. Jalen Phillips, $120 million, 4-year deal, 80 guaranteed, 30 million per. Not me. I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that. Not paying that. I think he's a really good player. Okay, but you got to have cap integrity. Howie kept his cap integrity. Now, you're not a better team. So what you did was, here's an example of you saying, I have to worry about potential guys that I have to sign, like Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And I'm starting to think this a little bit. I'm starting to think Howie's looking too much in the front mirror instead of the rear mirror or the present mirror, because this guy's looking down the road and it's hurting his present. You're not a good football team right now on defense. How about this? You're a lesser of a football team because Jalen Phillips is no longer on your team. I would love Chubb, and we trade for Grenard. I think Chubb makes a lot of sense. Plus, he's cheaper. Listen, you're not a better team, but follow the money. Follow the money. Jalen Phillips is a really good football player. He has to maximize the most money he can. And the Eagles were stuck at 27.5. They didn't want to pay over $27 million. Okay? They did not want to pay over $27 million. So right now, at the end of the day, you're looking at a scenario here. Okay? They just didn't pay that money. All right? They didn't want to pay that money. So that's why you lose out on Jalen Phillips. Now Howie's got to go back into the market here. Laughing my ass off. Sills was criticizing Phillips all last week, and now he's gone, which is a problem. Okay, dude. You think you're a better football team now without him? Don't trust Sills. I fucking told you weren't signing him. This guy's a douchebag at the end of the day, Prince. Okay? Criticizing him? Yeah, I mean, I think the Carolina Panthers overpaid for him, but you're not a better team. Whatever, guy. Yeah, well, I'm the one that told you were never signing him. Not happening. Really? Okay, whatever. So, like I said, let's see here. Mr. Hill. Sills, I agree. He hasn't shown anything as a 3-down player, but that kind of money, they think obviously he can be. Well, then you're paying for potential because he's still not there as the 3rd-down guy yet. He's not there yet. I cannot be mad at Howie for not signing Phillips when they threw 27.5 at him. I agree. But as I said, Sleepy, 2 things can be true. You're not as good a football team. Okay? You're not as good as a football team, but you did the right thing financially. Sean, is there a better team minutes after losing a great player? They are a better team by the time the season starts by letting him walk instead of paying him. They're not a better team. Still spoke the truth. Phillips is good, but not worth us dumping that much money into him. 2 things can be true, my friend. Correct. I think he's a good player. $30 million? No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, Jason, how are you a better team by losing Phillips? I can't wait to hear this one. How are you a better team? When you didn't have Phillips, your edges were shit show. Okay? Okay? Thank you very much, my friend. We get our third rounder back, and I don't think he was worth it. Okay? Seals, you see Raiders got Linderbaum? I did see that. I'll tell you what, deals are being signed as we speak right now. Deals not being signed. I'll take that back. Deals are being consummated. Okay? As we're speaking right now. All right? Look, listen, you're not a better team without Phillips. But I'm not paying 30. I'm okay losing Phillips at that price. Me too, SS. We can get a decent replacement for cheaper. I agree. Okay? Seals, we are not a better team, but Howie's not paying for potential is a good move. I'll bite that. I will. Better to not overpay. You overpaid for Jordan Davis. Hey, I'm going to make a comment to you guys, and you tell me something here. Okay? Listen to this. Ain't nobody paying Phillips $30 million. They just did. I told you this. You were never re-signing him. You were never in the room. Dotson gone. AJ stays. I don't believe that. Didn't Phillips play in the Niners game in the playoffs? Didn't hear his name called one time in that game. I thought he got the shit blocked out of him. I told you, I think Jalen Phillips is a really good player. $30 million? No, thank you. I would have went and got Crosby, but the 2-1s were too much for Howie. Howie didn't want to work the 2-1s. I'm going to make a statement here, and I'll tell you what, you guys can hold me accountable to this. The draft will be huge at this rate. Guys, I'm going to tell you this, okay? This is a feeling. Boy, I'll tell you, with all this money that's being thrown around by the Eagles, it would not shock me if Zach Bond becomes a casualty of the cap. I don't know. I'm hearing he could become a casualty of the cap. And this is why Nakobe Dean's name, I thought Nakobe Dean's name would be one of the names that were thrown out immediately. And I thought he would have signed immediately with the Cowboys. That's yet to be determined. So I don't know what the holdup is on this. Howie hasn't been the same since that beer can at the parade. Wake up, bozo. Howie's looking for teams he can make deals with that have shitty GMs. This is what Howie does best. Gargantuan, $31 million. It's now the new benchmark for corners. Enormous contract. DeJean won't get that much. Q probably will. The Cowboys trying to get Jalen Thompson and Dean. I would not be shocked by the end of this program if Nakobe Dean is signed by the Dallas Cowboys. That could be something to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on that. Because I thought he'd be a first-day guy. Now, remember something. These deals can't be officially, they can't become official until Wednesday at 4 p.m. Alec Pierce got big money. Hello, Big Sales. Hope all is well. Thank you very much. Very much. Very cool words. Are we in a rebuild or maybe a mini rebuild? This season is going to be a little of a setback. I've been telling you that so far. Okay? So far, I've been telling you that. This looks like a step back. Hey, Mars, listen, I have no insight on this, but to me, I would not be shocked if Zach Bond got traded or if he becomes a casualty of the cap. Look, and I love the player. I just feel that there's something in the wind on Zach Bond. And I feel there's something going on with Bond. I don't think Howie has any interest in getting rid of AJ. Oh, I do. I do. There's 3 windows. Now, draft, and after June 1. I completely... I'm going to get to AJ here in a minute. Seals, do you think Howie showed any interest in Fitzpatrick, the safety? He only went for a 7th. Was he too expensive? I don't think Howie was in on him. That doesn't mean the Miami Dolphins just ate $100 million on their salary cap today in dead money. Don't talk to me about what teams will do and not do anymore. Teams are capable of doing anything. Seals, the money is being thrown around. Huge money. I think we see Howie making trades for contracts that fit into slots with our cap. The obsession with you guys and Dean is out of control. The dude can't stay on the field. It's true. By the way, I never said that Nakobe Dean would be back. Just for the record. You can't keep a guy and pay a guy who's not available. And I think he's a good football player. There isn't a spot for Dean on this team. You got to move off someone like this, Sells. Can't have a first-round pick sitting on the bench. You're exactly right. If you get 3 first-rounders or a combo of AJ and Carter, I do the deals and make the first-rounders. If you get rid of AJ Brown and Jalen Carter, you'll win 7 games. You may win 5 games. If you got rid of A.J. Brown for draft picks and Jalen Carter, you'll win 5 football games. Sales, if New England starts getting it, Howie should ask for the 27th first-round pick for A.J. along with it too. Like I've been telling you, and I've been consistent. If A.J. Brown is traded this year, he's traded to New England. Campbell is a solid linebacker. Let him grow. I think he's more than solid. I think he has a chance to be exceptional. I'm going to get to Jalen Carter in a minute. One thing I could say about Jordan Davis is from when he got drafted to now, every year his weight and his play improved. He put in the work and he earned it. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give that to you. What's good, Sills? So you don't see the Eagles being 3-year NFC? No, absolutely not. Why the big extension for Jordan Davis? Why the big extension to Jordan Davis was a mistake, as it was the last year with Cam Jurgens' big extension. Okay? You all want more picks for stars to trade in the future like Jalen Carter. Prince is right here. Bro, getting draft picks versus Jalen Carter? You can keep your fucking first rounders. Like, do you really believe the Raiders are going to get and land on 2 great players? that are going to get the return of Max Crosby, the Raiders will never draft a guy that will be as good as Max Crosby. That's not happening. They may get a starter. They may get a good player. You're not getting Max Crosby with those 2 ones they got. No fucking way. See this right here? Maybe. Well, I don't like maybe. There's that word maybe and potential. Maybe and potential. God, I hate those. Big Sills, what is Howie waiting for? Is he having trouble logging into Temu? Funny. That's funny shit, man. What a lot. That's a lot of money for Jordan Davis. Okay? Hit the like button. Supers go to the top, as we do. Sills, what's your take on re-signing Goddard? Now that Kate Otten is going back to Tampa, maybe Goddard comes back with his hand out, and maybe the Eagles get him on a good deal. Michael Carter just signed and renegotiated, just reported will not be cut. Michael Carter's a dude. How many people in here think Michael Carter's a good ball player? I think he's okay. Like, that's not a premier player on your defense. I think he's okay. With all these outlandish contracts like Jalen Carter on a rookie deal, the most valuable trade piece in the league. Hi, Sills. If the Eagles wanted defense head coach Vic Fangio to stay, don't you think they would shirt his defensive players so he can win? Yes. And they let one of his favorite ball players go in Jalen Phillips. Yes. Guys, hit the like button. Appreciate you. Sills, does Phillips moving allow Campbell to fill more of an No, they're not going to play him there at the edge. I didn't think he was very good out there. He's not Micah Parsons. Let him learn off ball, man. Okay? Let him keep learning. Yo, Sills, any chance of signing a cornerback other than Carter? I think Jamel Dean would be a nice sign for them. I do. I think you get a guy like Jamel Dean, but again, he's an injury issue. So keep an eye on that. I got to tell you guys, I don't think they're going anywhere in the free agency here. This looks like another Temu offseason here. I happen to agree with Twiz. You're not going anywhere in free agency. You guys think you guys are like re-signing guys in free agency. I don't see it. I don't see you guys going and making all these big moves here. I don't see that. And plus, if you're going to start making moves, most of the big names are going to be gobbled up. Today and tomorrow, Trey Hendrickson is seeking $32 to $34 million. Hey, dude, Trey Hendrickson is a better football player than Jalen Phillips. And he's going to get $32 to $34 million. If Jalen Phillips is getting 30, he's going to get $32 to $34 million. Howie's not paying that. Get this. I'm not the one fucking putting these deals together, douchebag. I'm not the one losing players. You are. Doom and gloom? I think a guy that played 87 snaps, giving him $26 million for a guy you take off the field on third down, and the majority of the time you're a nickel and he's off the field, is a lot of money. You losing Jalen Phillips, there's two parts of it. The $30 million is too large, and I see it. But you're not a better team today. I don't know what the fuck else to say to you, guy. It's not gloom and doom. It's called reality. Unless you think Nolan Smith is a better ball player than Jalen Phillips, why don't you give Nolan Smith $30 million then? Doom mentality? Why? Based off of what you did? Well, what do you plan on doing this offseason in free agency then, Emrayes? Help me out here. What are you going to do? What are you going to do now? You lost Phillips. You lost Crosby. I haven't even gotten to A.J. Brown yet. What do you think you're going to do? Help me out here. Help us all out. Mr. Wisdom, what are you going to do? Who are you going to sign? Who are you signing, guy? A guy in the draft? Okay. And Howie's been great at edge rushers. Oh, the NFL draft. Howie's been exceptional at finding edge rushers, hasn't he? Josh Sweat and who? Josh Sweat and who? Like who? Howie's being calculated and not spooked into a move. There is no fucking move. The moves have been made. What move? What move are you talking about? Can't win, Sills. Can't win with Sills. Resign it, dude. You're missing it. Okay, listen. I've been as consistent on this as I possibly can. He's a good player. I'm not paying 30. You're not a better team. All those are true. All those. Okay. Hey, Phils, let's go down the list on what you just said. Okay? Can't win with Sills. Resign a dude is too, and it's too much. Do you think $30 million, Phils, yes or no? Do you think $30 million is too much for Jalen Phillips? Yes or no? Yes or no? Too much? How many people in here believe? Okay, listen. I'll ask you guys because this guy won't answer because he's a fucking idiot. Is paying Jalen Phillips too much money at $30 million? I think we all agree. Okay? Are you a better football team without Jalen Phillips? No. Two things can be true. You're a worse team. You've got to figure out finding another player. What is negative? What is negative? This is reality. You're not a better team without Jalen Phillips. He's not a $30 million a year guy. I get it. Holy shit. You think everything is in one sandbox. It's not. To be fair, it doesn't matter who we sign in 2025 season proved we can have great players signed and shit the bed offensively, so it only matters how they play. We said Mike Evans would go to the 49ers and go with Kyle Shanahan. Mike Evans to the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year contract. Money will start coming out with Derek Gilmore. I thought he would land there. We said Kyle Shanahan, and that makes as much sense. A contender. Now Mike Evans is there with George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Kyle Shanahan. That's a pretty good move for them, depending on what the money was. I wanted Evans here as a backup plan in case AJ's gone. I'm going to make Okay, I'm going to make this right here, okay? Prince, is that right? That's a great sign for them. That's a great sign for the Steelers. Well, I would say this. You call it retirement home? That JV team beat the fuck out of you in the playoffs. Do you think at this point the Super Bowl window is closed by the looks of it? Next year, $103 million for us instead of $12 million like Hurricane Howie is signing Temu players. He's going to be cheap. Frank, I don't see a good year this year. As of right now, things can change. Hit the like button. I trust Howie, only GM I've ever said that about. Let me ask you this. How do you think he had, Phil, how do you think he had his year was a year ago? Seals, you are correct. The Birds are not better without Phillips. And he wasn't worth 30. Correct. Now, plan B. What's that? If you guys don't think Howie Roseman has, I would not be shocked if he's looking at this Trey Hendrickson deal. Which means he'll overpay for Trey Hendrickson. Do you see the Eagles being creative with edge, rotating Carter and Ajomo at edge? The cupboard is beyond bare at edge. I'm not putting Carter out there. Okay? Seals, if we're looking at the draft, what are your thoughts on Ruben Bain Jr.? I think he's a sensational ball player. And I think he will make any football team great. Eagles tanking this year. Whew, man, not out to a very good start. Okay? Well, I'll take that back. You had to do this. You didn't want to lose the player. Okay? You didn't want to lose the player. But the reality is you're not going north of 27.5. It's a tough position to be in. Listen, Rosenhaus was never going to take less than 30. A year ago, he was balancing future to re-sign his own. Understandable. He has to balance now with the future for sustained success. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Phil, and I appreciate the $5, man. Thank you. Phil, and I appreciate your sports talk here, too. You think the Eagles flip-flopped on Jalen Carter, or Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? I was told this offseason was going to be the extension of Jalen Carter. What happened to that What happened to the extension? I saw that John Clark is saying that they're working on an extension. That fucker would have been already put out there. What are you waiting for? You have the guy under contract. You don't have to wait till Wednesday. What are you waiting on? I mean, the market's being set. What are you waiting on? I mean, the Eagles had to have flipped. I think they punted on him. And that doesn't mean I think they're moving him. Okay? That doesn't mean that yet. That doesn't mean I'm going down that lane. But they punted on him. Okay? They punted. They did. They punted on him. Yeah, I got your super, Kyle. I read your super, dude. Thank you, man. I would take a trade for Gennard. What do the Vikings need at quarterback? Send them McKee in a fourth or 5th. I didn't get it. Thank you, Xander, very much. Thank you. I would take a trade for Gennard. Man, I don't believe Howie wants to give up those draft picks, man. I really don't. Because now that you haven't made any moves in free agency, I think you're in a position right now where that draft really means a lot. Phil, thank you. I believe they were higher on Carter last season than this. And yes, they feel more comfortable with Davis as of today. Just my gut feeling. See this guy right here? This is cool shit right here. Got off to a contentious start here. Now we're going back and forth on sports talk. Way to go, guy. I'll tell you what. That's people in here would call that flip-flopping. That the Eagles flip-flopped. Because they did flip-flop. They're punting and kicking the can down the road on Jalen Carter as of today. Howie's success in the draft the past few years at key positions seems to have stifled his aggressiveness in free agency. Wouldn't you agree? I would totally agree with that. Okay? Get this. So that's not a flip-flop. So last year when you guys were telling me that the offseason of 2026 was freeing up money to get Jalen Carter signed, and then the first thing they do in the priority is sign Jordan Davis to the contract and kick the 50-year option down the road for Jalen Carter's not a flip-flop, this guy doesn't know what fucking flip-flop is. We don't know if Carter is negotiating for more money. Maybe we have offered a deal and he didn't take it. Could be. And that's why Howie's taking calls on potentially dealing him. Absolutely true. A sign of maturity is to be able to change opinion when new information is presented. Yeah, don't tell some of the people in here that. They lost all leverage with Nolan. That room is bare bones. It's kind of hard to tell. That's a great point. Hey, original. Now maybe you have to pick that 50-year option up on Nolan Smith. Because your room, you can't stay consistent in the NFL. Hey, let me ask you this, folks. You think the Miami Dolphins flip-flopped on Tagovailoa? Yes or no? They gave the guy $157 million. Did they flip-flop on him eating $100 million in cap space? These guys will never learn. There is no plan B. We want to be mediocre the next few years. We need to unload what we can and build for 27. Too many underperforming huge contracts on this team. Fun while it lasted. Mike Evans is a Niner sales. You called it. Thank you. Yes. We had heard that Derek Gilmore, his agent, and John Lynch, they've been friends for a long time. And that just makes sense, him bringing that in here. Thank you very much. Means a lot. I don't get JC trade talk for 2 number ones. I agree with you, Carver. I'm not in on that. That not only requires hitting on picks, but also the problem remains. How do you pay the hits? All positions costs going up. Absolutely. And generational talent is not replaceable. Q's expected costs alone just skyrocketed today with that McDuffie deal. Thank you very much, Carver. That was awesome. Any sandbox players in the draft that can help? Dez will do that again. Okay? Let's see this. Well, you can leave anytime, guy. Trev, I agree with your take, Sills, but the order of extending Davis prior to Carter, yeah, you're right. They weren't going to let him walk into the 2025 season with another year. You're right. Okay? You're right. Sills, We couldn't sign Phillips at the money. Howie should go sign Woolen to fill cornerback. Let Bond play more edge. Draft an edge in the second round. Re-sign Goddard and play Campbell. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Let me go back here to this guy. I want to thank you again. Tough position to be in, isn't it? Okay? When you do what M. Reyes and Prince say, Howie's been doing such a good job of drafting, and you believe so much in your draft picks, and you start kicking guys down the road. I'm going to show you guys something here, and then you tell me how you feel about this. Let me write this out. Now I'm going to start showing you volume. Volume. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Jalen Phillips, probably Nakobe Dean, Isaiah Rodgers, and CJ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of those guys were starters off the last 2 years. You can't keep moving and losing dudes like this. And sitting on 3 players and think you're going to be good. Again, I get moving off of players, but I'm talking about volume of players. This is a volume of players here, man. Thank you very much, Prince. Sills, our only hope is Edge Chubb. Do you agree? I like Chubb. And I think Chubb's just as good as Jalen Phillips. He's been just as productive. Sills, how dumb are the Cowboys for trading for Gary when the Packer fans were telling me he was set to be released? Yeah, I don't get that. I don't think the Cowboys wanted to get into a bidding war. And so they acquired the contract. They wanted the player, but you see these numbers that are getting out there. By the way, I don't know that's dumb, Mike, because if Gary had gotten out there, I think Gary's a better ball player than Jalen Phillips. He may have been north of $27 million or $30 million. So maybe they didn't want to get into a bidding war. Okay? I don't think they wanted to. Sills, Phillips isn't worth 30. Howie did the right thing in moving away from re-signing him. Yeah, but here, Temple, you're not better. So you're right, and I agree. But now you got another hole on your football team. Do you agree? And I don't know if a draft pick is going to fill that hole. You've got to assume that guy's going to, all of a sudden, you got to assume that. I think a lot of these guys are being overpaid. Absolutely. I think a ton of these guys. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens both underwent stem cell surgery this offseason. So Landon also had another surgery? Jesus. Okay. Holy cow. So Landon also? Okay. Whew. Man, that dude's he doesn't have a lot of time left as a player. He doesn't. Get a young, healthy guy, but show and improve. Good move. Same wholesales. Phillips didn't impress me. Phillips improved your football team being here. He did. Okay? Seals, you see Tyler Linderbaum went to the Raiders, got paid too. What was that deal that Tyler Linderbaum got paid? Tyler Linderbaum 181 million is the best value rather than the max value. Tyler Linderbaum reset the center market. He's now making 18 per. Wow. How about this? 60 million in guarantees, 81 million over 3 years. He's a really good player. I thought the Bears would get him. What a big time. Dude, really good players are getting exceptional money right now. Impressed with Phillips' fit and Vic's system. And his pressures. He had 73 and 17 games while being traded midseason. I agree. He was very productive. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Carv. That was really dope of you, man. Man, the money that's being thrown around, okay, is incredible. So I'm calling it Carter for Anderson player swap with the Texans. Never happened. Excuse me. Will Anderson Jr. is a better ball player than Jalen Carter. I'm not giving up a better ball player. Will Anderson's a better player. And you're going off of 24 because you're surely not going off of 25. You see all the big contracts these guys are getting? These guys are getting the Eagles. Cannot pay these guys. Sills, how far apart were the Eagles to Phillips? They were about $4 million, $3.5 million. Now remember that. $3.5 million to you guys seems like, well, $3 million, 27.5, $30 million. That doesn't seem like a lot. Well, you do that over 4 years. You're talking $10 to $12 million. That is a lot. That's $12 million over the length of the contract. Sills, Carolina just gave Phillips the money. They should have paid Brian Burns. That's a great take. Brian Burns, it would have been cheaper because Brian Burns was only $25 million. Think about the Giants. Giants got a deal, right? 2 years ago, they signed him and gave what, a 2 and a 5? And they only paid him $25 million. Only. And Brian Burns is a better ball player. Sills, Edmonds is there. Very productive linebacker. Could be a good stopgap. Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles' strength is that linebacker. Now, when Dean leaves, that will be a different conversation. Okay? It will be. Let me get to Jalen Carter now. Damn, if this ain't a message to Jalen Carter, I don't know what is. I said this on my weekend show. Jalen Carter was expected to get that contract and that money. And I don't know why they haven't signed him. Since the season ended, what's the holdup? What's the holdup? You mean to tell me how he can't do more than one thing at one time? I find that unreasonable to think. You're telling me how he can't do more than one deal at a time? He's got to worry about AJ, Jordan Davis. Obviously, there was a priority to get Davis signed. There wasn't a priority to get Jalen Carter signed. You got the guy under contract. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do anything, but, dude, I heard the guy's name, Michael Parsons. I heard it in a Max Crosby deal. Now I'm hearing it in a 49er deal. I'm hearing it everywhere now. That guy's got to be taking calls for Jalen Carter. Is this a character thing and a money thing? As good a player as he is? You keep hearing, I don't hear Will Anderson's name and the Texans floating his ass out there. Bro, here. No, he won't. These deals are all getting done now. They'll be certified Wednesday. They become official. Like Prince, who's he going to sign? Can't sign Crosby. That deal's done. Is he getting Henderson? Who? What guy is Howie going to sign by Wednesday? I'm just curious to see what you think that they get signed by Wednesday. Can't trust Prince. Prince. Oh, can't trust. Oh, it's a joke. Got it. So are the Patriots worse? Who'd they get rid of? Who did the Patriots get rid of? Stephon Diggs? Thank you, my friend. Who did the Patriots get rid of? Who did they lose? Stephon Diggs? Stephon Diggs is a non-factor. Who did they lose? Stephon Diggs was washed up. A bottle cap could be a better replacement for that guy. Seals, I think Carter's antics, along with his immaturity with his shoulder concerns, they're using the 26th season as a test. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a prove-it year. Oh, absolutely, this is a prove-it year. No doubt. Carter's value is going up next year. They will trade for multiple first-rounders next year. You better hope so. You better hope so. That he has a bounce back. So wait a minute. What did you think of the Kenneth? Oh, yeah. Xander just pointed out, we kind of mentioned it a little bit in the open. Kenneth Walker going to the Kansas City Chiefs. What was the money here that he ended up getting? I think Kenneth Walker's a good player. But, I mean, I don't think that guy is a game changer. And him going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kenneth Walker signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. Great. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a game changer. 13 a year? Sure, I guess. Super Bowl MVP? Doesn't really do anything for me. Hey, by the way, I thought that Super Bowl MVP carried a lot of metal. Guess it did in Seattle. Seattle looked at that and went, that guy's replaceable. Meant nothing to them. It meant nothing. I think Kansas City got a good player. He'll be better than anything they've had in a while there. Do I think he's a game-changing type dude? 1,000 yards rusher? I don't know. I think he's okay. As a matter of fact, Xander asked me what I thought about it. I really don't think anything about it. I think he's a guy. They upgraded that position at running back, but that's not a game-changing dude. Max Crosby, a guy like that is a game changer. Hey, for the record, I don't think Jalen Phillips is a game changer. I think, I think he's not. I don't think he's a game-changing guy. I think he's a really good player. No, dude, I'm not saying he didn't get good money. I just don't think I think the other guy, the other back, I think this guy's better. Okay. Who's an impact player? He had 1,000 yards. Big deal. The guy in Dallas is a better player than the guy Kansas City just got. Buffalo discussing with Philly for AJ right now. Wow. DJ Moore and AJ Brown in Buffalo for Josh Allen. Man, that would be something to watch. You imagine Josh Allen and AJ Brown together? Holy shit. Would that be absolutely awesome, Mikey? Then you get AJ and Josh Allen. Carter better enroll in the same class that Jordan Davis did. That would be crazy, AJ. Oh, AJ, we got to get to AJ now. By the way, please hit the like button here. Okay, please hit the like button. Let's see what we got going. All right. I got a guy. Hold on for a second. I got a guy sending me something. Supposedly, Bradley Chubb and the Eagles are talking. We'll see. Okay, we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Supposedly, they're talking, so it's a good thing. Hey, Sills, this free agency class isn't all the crazy. Don't stress over this free agency. This roster is still stacked. You're not, bro. You think you're stacked at edge? You think you have depth in your O-line? I don't. Okay, I think you're stacked here. You think you're stacked at safety? You're losing Reed Blankenship. Today, he's a free agent. You're probably losing. I heard the Eagles aren't moving above $10 million. They're not going like over 9 or from what I heard. Correct. If you lose Reed, you add that guy to the list. I think they are, man. I like Munden. I like Campbell. I like Bond. I like Trotter. I think they're pretty good there. I saw Kobe Bryant got that. That's why the draft is important this year. Plug a bit of holes, not all of them. Sills, DJ Moore, A.J. Brown, and Shakir. That's the best wide receiving group Allen ever had. You bet. Be no more excuses. Okay? Sills, let's say A.J. goes to the Buffalo Bills and Allen doesn't win. What does that say about Josh Allen in your eyes and Jalen Hurts win another one? What it would say? Allen is the better talent that didn't compromise enough to win. Can't be about him making the hero play. You've got to compromise too. Here, Prince, at the end of John Elway's career, John Elway was like not the same player he was. But do you know what the one thing they did do? They brought in Terrell Davis. And Terrell Davis became a superstar. And he became more of a caboose. Those final 2 Super Bowls, he was a caboose. Okay? Seals can't make excuses for that one. I don't make excuses for anybody. Excuses are for assholes. I talk in reality. I think the 49ers got themselves one whale of a football player who still has something left in the tank. I don't believe he's got 3 years. I do believe he's got 2 years. And Mike Evans is going to help that football team a lot. Plus, you have Kyle Shanahan. Plus, he's got Brock Purdy. Plus, he's got Christian McCaffrey. Plus, they have also George Kittle. I think they're looking at next year. I think San Francisco's got 1 year window, and it's this year. 49ers have a 1 year window, and it's right now. Allen is awesome, but come on. There are levels to this shit. Campbell is good in space. He's not good on the line or blitzing. He has a lot of improvement when needed. Hey, Daz, I think that has a lot to do with them taking the reps away. Okay? Them taking the reps away from him. I think your 49ers got better today. That's a really nice sign. I like that sign. Dotson left Hurts will not be able, nor do I see him trying to recruit players. He's a liability when it comes to recruiting. I wouldn't go there. I don't know that. You're 50-18 in the last 4 years. If that can't recruit you as is, last 4 years, you went to 2 Super Bowls, you won 2 NFCs and a Super Bowl, and you're 50-18. I don't really think I need a guy barking with a megaphone. Hey, come play with me. I think you see the room, don't you? Like, I don't need that guy barking. Hey, come over here. I'm going to look at it and go 50-18 in 4 years. Fuck, I'm in. Sills, Marino didn't compromise at all and never got back to the Super Bowl. Marino kept the Fins one-dimensional. He did. He never, ever compromised, and that's why he never won. He had one 1,000-yard rusher in his 17 years as a quarterback in Miami. Okay? Let me get to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown will not be on the team September. No way. There's too much noise in the pipeline. Howie can tell you all he wants. That he doesn't. Drew Rosenhaus told me personally, every single passing team is called Philadelphia and Howie's working with everyone. He's working everybody. He's not settling with anybody, though, but he's talking to everybody about moving AJ. It's just a matter of time. Shefty said that Phillips the highest paid non-quarterback ever in free agency. 30? Yeah, because he passed Milton. Because Milton got 26. So, I mean, you knew that A.J. Brown won't be on the team in September? When was this? All A.J. all the time. The loudest player in the league in NFL right now. I don't think he can get over some of these contracts that are coming out. Because the money that's being thrown around right now, I mean, is incredible. I got it. Jonathan Grenard, 77 starts versus Jalen Phillips, 63. One's got 38 sacks, and the other guy has 28. Yeah, but you're going to have to give up draft picks. Hey, by the way, you gave $30 million to a guy that's never been named to the Pro Bowl or has never been considered a Pro Bowl talent. Man, is that a lot of money. Holy shit. 30 million bucks. I mean, dude, Shedeur Sanders made the Pro Bowl. Sills, could you give Cameron Jordan 1 year after the frenzy stops? Man, I love that player. Always have. I am a huge Cameron Jordan fan. Man, I'd like him to replace BG on the roster. I would love to have him on my roster. He is a really good player. Okay? You call it desperate? I call it a sense of urgency. Howie has, yes, I think he's waiting for things to calm down. Bro, you can't wait for shit to calm down. The players are all gone then. What do you mean, calm down? The players are being scooped. Look, all the big names go the first through 2 days. in the first week of free agency. I thought Mike Evans was going to take more time to sign. I did. I thought he would take more time. I don't believe A.J. Brown will be on this team in September. No way. No way do I believe that. Seals, Cam Jordan would also be a great vet voice in the locker room. We don't have that guy on defense. Cameron Jordan's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame player. He has been a great I think he's a 10-time Pro Bowler or something like that. Cameron Jordan, let me take a look at this. I know he's up there in age, but I would really like him as a role guy on my team. He's 36. Again, it depends the money, but this guy's an 8-time Pro Bowler. This guy's a better football player than Fletcher Cox. He's got 132 sacks in his legendary NFL career. I mean, this guy's 4 away from Lawrence Taylor. Look at these years. 15 and a half, 12, 13. Last year he had 10. He had 10 and a half sacks at 35 years of age. That guy's some ball player, dude. And he's got a motor. Sills, why don't you think AJ will be on the team at the start of the season? Xander was talking about how much cap space Howie's going to have to eat if they move on from him. I just think there's too much talk going on in the pipeline right now. There's too much noise right now. This is not, and plus Howie hasn't come out and said, I'm not trading him. And there's too many people inquiring about him. I wrote this here too. Josina just wrote this and said this. Listen to this. Here's Josina. Quickly updating this thread. At some point in discussions, a leak source conveyed to me Monday that the belief that the Eagles may be okay with a 2027 second-round pick. I fucking told you guys this. That it's going to be next year's first-round pick and a second for A.J. Brown. When I asked the source why Philly be okay with deferring the first-round pick the next year, one source told me the Eagles already have 4 of the top 100 picks this year. Easier for another team to give the first-round pick for next year than this. Another source had said also next year's draft class is stronger. So Josina is saying that Howie may be okay taking a first rounder next year for A.J. Brown and taking a 3 this year or 2. I still think it's a 2 and a 3, and I still think it's New England. So as it stands right now, we need a number 3 wide receiver. Dude, I don't really care who you put in there. You could put Xander in there. Those guys are only going to get 30 catches. Jeremiah should be the plan. Look, Jeremiah Smith's going to be either the first or second player taken next year. I mean, you would have to win 3 games to get that guy. You'd completely have to fall apart. No guarantee on that comp pick the Eagles get, as it doesn't follow a particular player's compensation. It's net losses, net gain. That's right. It's all calculated. That's very good, Paul. You're on top of that. Like, right. Here, Pietas. Not now. Maybe the draft. And maybe June. How he's going to move that dude for 2027? If he gets past, I don't believe A.J. Brown's on this team. Here. Let's do this. You save money with this Jordan Davis deal, too. Okay. Post-June 1 trade resulted in a $16.4 million cap hit, over $7 million in saving compared to a devastating $43.4 if he's traded earlier. Eagles will eat that 16-4. $16 million for a first-round pick? I think that sounds right. I think that sounds right. Plus, get this. You're going to have 2 first-round draft choices next year. And if your offensive line is total dog shit again, you're going heavy in the O-line. What happens if your quarterback blows, too? Seals, with all these moves so far in the NFC, I think it's going to fall into Jalen's shoulders more than ever before to make the Eagles at the top of the NFC again. I think as a leader, he can do it. Well, he's going to be asked. Make no mistake about it. I'm going to reiterate one more time. You're not a better team today on March 9th. Losing Jalen Phillips. But this goes back to what you guys said a year ago. You couldn't play Milton. Here's your second Milton Williams. Right? This is your second Milton Williams. You know what? I thought that thing would be $14 million, but with the escalating prices, well, this is 2 years in a row you're saying that. And you paid a guy who, albeit had a good year, is a first and second down guy. Dude had 2 sacks. Let's see that. It says Bradley Chubb last year had 2 sacks. By the way, Jalen Phillips has never made he's never made a Pro Bowl. Kind of crazy, huh? See here. Bradley Chubb had 8.5 sacks last year. Let's see. I get these people texts. Okay. Let's see here. Still says this crap every year. The end. Well, I was right last year. Sills, next year's draft class is stronger, much stronger with better quarterbacks. So it will be harder to pay all those anyway. Big Sills, it's reported M. Ray says, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I could see that. I could see that walking into Howie's place. Thank you there, Maniac. They may be crazy not to take at least a first for AJ's next draft. Yes, he might have some in the tank, but he's getting older. Yes, Giants are getting better. They are. They're getting better. Seals, can you say overrated? I understand the U connection, but his needle moves nothing. I thought your football team got better last year. Stills, I see Trayvon Walker to Philly. Sounds right. But the Jags, that's a lot of money. Look, the money right now being generated never happened. I remember in start of the 22, they said, you're not a good team. Then you go to the Super Bowl. They said, okay, well, there's nothing wrong, Philadelphia, thinking all that. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm just pointing out in the last 2 years, you're losing more players that are impact guys than you're gaining. Let's take a look at that. In the last 2 seasons, and let's see how many players you've added. Okay? You've lost Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, I'm going to put Nakobe on here. I'm going to put Jalen Phillips on here. I'm going to put Isaiah Rodgers on here. I'm going to put Gardner Johnson on here. And I'm going to put Slay on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's take a look at who you've replaced those guys with. I think Mauro Jum was a fine ball player. He's not Milton Williams. You kind of haven't replaced him. You haven't replaced Sweat. You have kind of replaced Nakobe, but not really with Jahad Campbell. You don't have anybody on the team now that can replace Jalen Phillips. Isaiah Rodgers you couldn't replace Isaiah Rodgers. Adoree Jackson's not better than Isaiah Rodgers. At safety, Gardner Johnson was your best safety. You haven't really replaced him. And Slay, in my opinion, is better than Adoree Jackson. Like I said, dude, if you think Mauro Jomo is a better ball player than Milton Williams, I'm not going to debate you. You go right ahead. Keep telling yourself that. Okay, I get it. He was a good draft pick. It was a great draft pick. Sills, the real question is, we are trading AJ to help fill the 2026 Eagle holes or set up the 2027 Eagles or beyond. Well, here. That's 2 years in a row then, Bob. That's 25 and 26. I like having Carter and Davis together, so not too bad at that. Well, a lot of people are reporting right now that Jalen Carter is potentially being moved. Okay? Hey, Sills, you think Sirianni can count the hairs on Howie's ass by now? His nose is brown enough. Well, what do you think he's doing? He's not asking Nick Sirianni any advice when it comes to moving players. He's not asking him who he wants. This is all Howie. Nick Sirianni has no say in his personnel. I mean, he has no say. He sits down for dinner, and he's served what's cooked. He has no say in it. I mean, he's like one of the very few coaches that have no impact at all in a player that they're moving or going to be moved or trade for. He has no say. He sits at the dinner table. Howie brings the table and brings the dinner and he eats it. Whether it's hash browns, eggs, steak, hamburger, whatever. Dude, stop with the Becton stuff. Got the inside source. Carter heading to the Browns and deal for Garrett. That's what they'll do. They'll send Garrett to Cleveland. You'd have to send Jalen Hurts for Myles Garrett. Do you understand? He's the best player in football. Jalen Carter's not. So you have to trade somebody that they would need for a quarterback. They would have to send Hurts for Myles Garrett, Jalen Carter. Why? So they could be in the same position, just at a different position? People get too hung up on the Super Bowl roster. This day and age, you can't sustain all that talent. It's rebuild time phase. In 2028, everyone will be gone. Here, it's a good take. That's why what the New England Patriots did was so spectacular. But you know what they did? They move off of people like A.J. Brown, and they don't have a problem with it. They didn't have a problem with moving off of people like Darrelle Revis or Stephon Gilmore or Randy Moss. They didn't sit around moaning and bitching about whether a guy is good or here or there. They cared about their cap integrity. Plus, they had Brady. You don't have a quarterback that is a generational talent. When you have a generational talent quarterback, you can do that shit. When you just got a dude, you can't really do that. Generational quarterbacks cover deficiencies on your team. Hurts is not a generational guy. That's why you can't make the moves that New England did and why New England was so good so long. Same with Mahomes in Kansas City. Okay? We're not trading AJ or Carter. Oh, you're trading AJ. He's gone. What are you, a chick? The Pats want AJ. They do. I don't believe they're going to come off that deal. Okay? I don't. I think the Cowboys got better. I like that Rashawn Gary deal. You put Rashawn Gary on that D line with that other tackle and Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams, and if you add Nakobe Dean, Cowboys are getting better. They're getting better personnel. I think Rashawn Gary can play. How many sacks did he have last year? By the way, I think he's a better ball player than Phillips. Seven and a half, 9, 6. Barely misses football games. He's got 46 sacks, almost 50 sacks in 7 years. Yeah, he's a better ball player than Phillips. Quarterback hits are high. He can play off ball. He can come inside. He can play end. You can move him up and down the line of scrimmage. I kind of like that deal. And plus, they got 2 number ones this year. Cowboys are getting better. I agree. I think you Eagles are going to be like 7-10 this year. See here. Okay, good. Okay, we're all set up. Gary Cobb will be with us at 4:30. Z's going to join us in a couple minutes. Cowboys are on track, no doubt. Yeah, no, they're getting better. Cowboys are getting better. As I said, they didn't want to get in a bidding war. Gary was going to command 30. Gary's a better player than Phillips. He's a better football player. He's bigger, too. He's a bigger football player. He's 6'5", 280. He can move him off ball, edge. He never misses games. The former Pro Bowl. He's a good football player, dude. Another great move by the New York. The Giants are making a lot of moves. New head coach, new coaching staff. Jackson Dart, we'll see. So the Giants get Edmonds. Is that right? Giants also signing tight end Isaiah Likely. 3 years, $40 million. Whew, $10 million. Get this, too. So this guy signs. Likely to a $10 million deal. And you sign him over a Dallas Goedert who had 11 touchdowns. There's no way there's a market for Dallas Goedert. There's no way. Hey, by the way, what's up with Reed Blankenship? I'm still waiting for that contract, M. Reyes. Where is it? Still waiting for that deal. Reed Blankenship. It started in college. Love him. He's a sensational talent, but he's got to mature in character issues. Herbert plows into players with a broken hand and Hurts slides like a bitch. Yeah, well, I want my quarterback not to have a broken hand and play reckless. So I'm not going to kill Hurts for that. Okay? Oh, he's on the chopping block now. So you're flip-flopping. You said the Eagles were re-signing him. So now you're flip-flopping. Is that right? Reyes. So you're flip-flopping now. Because last year, you said he was getting a contract extension. What happened? He's on a chopping block now? Oh, my God, dude. So you were not one of the guys, and you were not the guy that says the deal's coming. This guy is a fucking liar. Holy shit, guy. Don't trust Reyes ever. Go to that guy for a while. Holy cow. So that guy thought he was being re-signed last year. Now he says he's not. Selective memory, bro. Seals, your lively does not factor in the relationship between the head coach. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in Baltimore. Okay. No, like ever, right, Sue? Like you too, right? Never. Nobody ever said that. Okay. Yeah, that's what I do, guy. I don't know you from a can of paint. I did say 7-10. As a matter of fact, I may go the other way. I may think you're going to win 5 ball games. Yeah, of course. That's what we do here. No. Yeah, that's what I do. I lie to flex. I lie to flex. Yeah, that's what I do. Hey, what can I do? Today I wake up, I want to lie to flex. Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, let's lie to flex and fucking damn dumbass. Oh my God. Oh man. Sills, New England might be willing to give Howie what he wants for AJ by the draft night. I think he's getting dealt after June 1, where they'll take that $14 million hit, and it won't be that much, especially with the cap going up next year, $25 million. I think it's going to be after June. I do. or they're going to post-date that thing until next year. Okay? Absolutely. Woo, baby. So let me get this right here, man. Hold on here. Before we bring Big Z in here, I got to ask you guys. Okay. Let's see here. So Jalen Carter's deal. So we'll start that one. When's it coming? When's this deal coming? Does Jalen Carter get here before I bring Z in? Does Jalen Carter get signed this offseason? Yes or no? Tell you what, I'm going to start this off with Big Z here on that one. Actually, we're going to go back in progression, and we're going to go back and we're going to start it out with Jordan Davis. Without further ado, we bring our friend in, Big Z. Xander Krause, how you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? It's free agency day, man. What a great day, isn't it, for Eagle for fans everywhere? I mean, it's just a cool day.
This is like feeding frenzy.
Yeah, dude. I'm sitting there every time I look down at my phone, I got a new notification from somebody getting a massive deal. The latest being former Eagle Josh Jobe returns to Seattle, 3 years and $24 million. Now, let me tell you why that's relevant to me. Where is a Brian Pumper? If you remember, we let Josh Jobe get out of here. I think we traded him or cut him or something, and we kept Keely Ringo. That guy was on the Super Bowl defense last year, and they just paid him back. So Josh Jobe, former Bama kid.
$9 million a year?
$8 million, 3 years.
$8 million a year? Wow. All right, let's start it off here. Let's start with Jordan Davis's deal. 3 years, $78 million, $65 in guarantees. I won't pollute the question this time. I'll just ask you straight up, what'd you make of it?
Well, I'm a fan of the player, and I think he earned a new contract. I don't know that he's ever proven anything to have earned a $26 million a year contract. Now, where I do pause and I ask, how much is this going to change? Like in 2 years, is this going to look like a good deal regardless of how it looks today? Because oftentimes Howie will make a deal that looks huge and then it's not that huge. Remember, Jalen Hurts was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL for a cup of coffee, and then he's outside the top 10. So I question that, but they paid him like a 3-down player, Sills, and he hasn't really proven he's a 3-down player. Now, I really like the player, and I like him. I'm happy he got paid, but I definitely have some questions on whether he can be a 3-down player or not. And then if he can't, is it still a good deal? Probably not if he can't play if he's not a 3-down player. Okay,
now, so Milton Williams kind of signed basically the same deal, but his was 4 years at 104.
Right.
And he had 63 in guarantees.
Milton did he get 26 or 28? Was it 28?
26. You got 26 annual.
Okay.
It's 26 annual. You think he's
a
better
very
player?
Similar.
You think he's a better player than Milton Williams?
No, I don't. I mean, it's not that Davis is as good at what he does as Milton is at what he does, but the more important skill set in the NFL is what Milton does. So because it's a weighted scale, I give it to Milton. But I think Jordan Davis is as good of a nose tackle as Milton is pass rusher, but nose tackles don't make what pass rushers make.
Well, now they do.
Right, now they do. Now it appears that they do. I don't know. Look, I don't want to, I'm not trying to like poo-poo the Davis deal. Like I'm happy about I wanted him to be here. I was calling for him to pay him. It just kind of blew me away. I saw the deal and I'm like,
the numbers.
Whoa. I saw the numbers and I was really shocked. So, and then Jalen Phillips leaves and that was being talked about that was like kind of a key plan of the offseason, right? The retention offseason. Isn't that what that meant, to retain, Jalen Phillips? So he doesn't stay. Boy, big contract for him, man.
30 large.
30 large for Jalen Phillips. I mean, I understand why Howie
80 in guarantees.
Yeah, I understand why Howie was out on that, but still got to get better as a team, Just because you made the right decision and not overpay somebody doesn't mean
That's
that
right.
you're in a better spot. It actually could mean you're in a worse spot.
We got another hole to fill.
Right. You could make a good decision and
Yeah,
still have
right.
a problem. And I think that's where the Eagles are. So let's see what they end up doing
Well,
with
this
that.
is part of roster building.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean,
and that contract perhaps makes it harder. But I don't know. I'll ask this. If they pay Jordan Davis like a 2-down player like he's been, and it was $20 million, can you take that extra 6 and get the Phillips deal done? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll tell you, man. I think that's a rich deal for when you're in third down defense 69% of the time, and you're taking a guy off the field. You're basically taking a $26 million guy off the field. That's a tough one for me to swallow, man.
Yeah,
I mean, boy. And again, I really do think he had a good year too. And I get you, man. And I think it started in 2024, Xander, when he started really working out and being in shape, and we saw it at the end of the Super Bowl run. So this wasn't just last year. This had gone on the year before. And Clint had said it, man. He started getting committed at the beginning of the 2024 season. So I think it's carried over. 26. Man, that's a lot of money for a 2-down guy. All right, so let me go to Jalen Phillips now. Jalen Phillips signs his contract with the Carolina Panthers. That really kind of makes a lot of sense. Dan Morgan is represented by Rosenhaus and Associates. Robert Bailey's his agent. That was really going to be a tough putt to get away from either Tennessee or Carolina. Carolina's closer to where he lives with all his family in South Florida. $30 million guaranteed, 4-year, 120. Give me your takeaway on how much of an impact you think that is now to your defense.
Well, maybe I tipped my hand a little early on your question, but I kind of think it's what I said in terms of I understand not going to 30 here. Like Sills, I think Jalen Phillips is a good player, and I thought he helped the team. I'm not going to deny that he helped the team. To me, I never once saw an elite edge.
No.
I didn't. And I don't say that as a knock on the player, but certain edges come along and you're like, holy shit, that guy can freaking get to the quarterback. Like you were with Will Anderson when he really came, into his own. I didn't see that at all from Jalen Phillips. And at 30 million large, I mean, I understand it. Now, my big question, though, is that doesn't, just because you made the right decision doesn't mean you're in a good spot, and is it Grenard? Who's it going to be? I actually like Bradley Chubb. I think I like the idea of Bradley Chubb, but Phillips got 30. What the heck is Bradley Chubb going to get? Now, it's not to say he's going to get more than 30, but we thought he was going to get, 12 to 15. I think he's going to be 20 plus.
I think that's why the Cowboys traded instead of waiting for Gary to get on the open market, because Gary would have got up there near 20, 30.
Maybe. And they gave
a
fourth rounder. I wonder, let me go see what Bradley Chubb's value would be right now, or just what
14 million.
Is that what they're listing on like Spotrac or whatever it's called?
Yeah, like they've been right.
Yeah, I know, but no, my point is I'm going to look at it and inflate it by 10 million. That's how.
Yeah. So you're going to have to look at 24 million there.
No, there's no projection here for him.
I thought it was 13.5, something like that, somewhere in that room.
Yeah,
they may have redone those things too, because
no, they didn't redo it last when I checked this morning, but I never looked on Chubb. Sometimes they don't give you a market value for certain players, but there's no market value here, so I don't know why.
All right. What message do you think Jalen Carter was sent with this Davis deal?
Well, I think there's been a litany of things that have been messages to Jalen Carter, and I think they do not start and end with the Jordan Davis deal. I mean, I thought the reporting about him being involved in the Micah Parsons deal, I thought the potential about him being involved in the Max Crosby deal, and, I was joking about this morning. I say, if it was Big Sills telling you that they're going to trade Jalen Carter, it's not that Sills doesn't have sources, but Sills will take a 1% chance of something and maybe make you believe there's a 70% chance of it happening. John is a polar opposite type of guy. He's not a sports talk type of guy that generates content, that creates good debate and good discussion. He's a reporter type. He's been saying there's a lot of smoke on Jalen Carter, dude. And I wonder what they're, you look at the Micah Parsons, the Max Crosby, the Jordan Davis deal. You have Moro Ojomo still here. I mean, are they looking to tell Jalen Carter, hey man, you're a good player, but you got to earn it. You're not just going to be delivered the silver platter, and you're replaceable. You're not irreplaceable. Maybe that's the message they're sending, or there's no message at all. I do think sometimes people underestimate how much negotiation goes on. Like in terms of you play hardball, you try and create leverage. Howie could be trying to create leverage with Drew. Drew might be saying, I want $35 million. And Howie's like, dude, your player hasn't earned $35 million yet. I still have more with Jomo. I have Jordan Davis, all these different things. So I could trade for Crosby, which they can't now, but in hindsight, I wonder if Howie's trying to create leverage with Drew Rosenhaus, who's a tough agent to deal with.
Well, he just negotiated and he couldn't break Drew. Drew won that and got his client 30. What if they on
well,
film?
Maybe that was Rosenhaus's response.
Well, wait. What if they did put a contract extension on the table and it came in at 28, 29 and Drew went like this? Fuck that.
Well, then Jalen Carter better have a good year. You can sign
this guy anyway, anytime you want, right?
Well, Jalen Carter better have a good year then, no?
Well, no, what I'm saying is you don't need to wait till Wednesday or anything. You got the players' rights for the next couple of years here. I mean, you don't have to do anything. So this deal could have been done 2 weeks ago. How come it wasn't?
Well, maybe Drew wants a bigger deal and the Eagles aren't willing to pay it, which creates a stalemate. I mean, Jalen's either going to have a great year and he's going to get the $35 million or whatever it is at that point, or he's not going to play good enough and the Eagles might look to move him. I mean, the other thing that I think the Eagles have done here is this. If you want to play hardball, we'll play hardball. And if he does have a great year, then guess what? We're willing to trade him for 2 ones.
Okay, as long as I get my 40. Drew's going to look at it like you could
trade him. Well, maybe he will.
Well, you could trade him to Kansas. I don't care. As long as I get my 40.
Yeah, but what about the Eagles? Like you're right. That's the Drew perspective. What's the Eagles perspective? Because you have a great player. You don't necessarily want to let great players like that
No,
building.
No. You don't. But 2 ones, you're not getting 2 ones for him. You probably get a 1, 3, and something else.
I'm saying, what if he has a great year?
If he has a great year, then they have the leverage. I'm assuming they're going to pick that 5th year up. That 5th year ain't cheap either.
Yeah, I agree. It's like $27 million or something.
Yeah, because he's an all-pro.
Yeah, it's a freaking huge deal. So
yeah,
I don't know. I do think it's interesting. I mean, it's not. I'll tell you what. It's not really like the Eagles to trade that player, but maybe they indicated that with the Jordan Davis deal, dude. Because John brought up something good to me on Saturday when we did our breaking news hit. Did
I tell you you were going to have to work?
Yeah, you did. So we were doing the breaking news hit, and John brought up a good point. He said, "All right, they've paid Jordan Davis now to be a 3-down player, which I think we can all agree with, based on the contract he was given. The projection by the Eagles is that he's going to be a 3-down player. It's easy for guys who wear suits and draw up contracts to project a player to be a 3-down guy. When it's 3rd and 10." And you're playing the Cowboys or the Giants or for a game in the NFC East late in the season, and you have Moro Ojomo, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis on the sideline, Vic Fangio is not going to give a rat's ass about the contract that you gave the player. He's going to put the 2 best pass rushers on the field. So if you take that thought process and extrapolate it out across the full season, if you go into the year with all 3 of those guys, it's probably still unlikely that Jordan Davis is a 3-down guy.
Absolutely.
They have 2 better pass rushing tackles right now. So with John saying that, it made me wonder, do they avoid that altogether and move one of them? Not going to be Jordan now. It'd have to be either Moro or Jalen Carter.
Why would you take the lesser player, though? I think Jordan Davis is the lesser player to Carter.
Well, they're very different. I mean, Jalen's not as well. He's definitely the lesser player. I mean, anybody who look. Sometimes we have
Now we're talking about one of the elite guys in the game here too.
Yeah, but dude, if anybody's saying Jordan Davis is better than Jalen Carter, they have recency bias. Jalen Carter was a wrecker on that Super Bowl team that won the Super Bowl. I mean, he was the guy.
Yeah,
he was the guy. So you can't. I'm not going to sit up here and act
single-handedly won the
like,
Rams game.
Let's not act like Jalen Carter hasn't been a baller for the Eagles. But hey, listen, your first 4 years are different than your second 4 years.
Yes.
So the Eagles might be looking at him and say, shoulders, discipline.
Okay.
I was good with the third. I was good with the 9th overall pick, but I'm not looking to give him 35. I don't know what they're thinking. I just wonder about that big picture thing of like, dude, Vic is not going to care about the contract.
No way.
Just like he didn't with Bryce Huff. He's not going to care. He's
Nope.
going to play the best players. And then you're going to have Jordan on the bench as a 2.
Or that kid White that they gave like $3.5–4 million to. They put his ass on. Remember, he put that linebacker kid on the bench there. He didn't even play that guy. He didn't even activate that guy.
Nope.
All right. So, hey, you know what, Xander? I have no insight on this, but I'm going to ask you. Tell me if you think I'm nuts on this one. I don't know, man. I got a feeling there's something in there that, man, it just seems Zach Bond might be a casualty somehow.
I don't think this year, man.
In this, I mean, how come Nakobe's name hasn't been mentioned yet?
Dude, I'm Goddard, Nakobe, and Reed. Three of the Eagles' big four there's been nothing on any of them.
All these big guys go day one.
I know. And if the Eagles, maybe we overrated our own guys. 3 of the 4. Marcus Mariota just re-signed with the Commanders. Oh, come on.
Right.
Well,
could they be trying to work a deal to keep Nakobe?
I just don't see it as much. I want Nakobe. I've said this very clearly. If it was my football team, he would have had a contract. But did they try and move Campbell to the edge after Phillips is gone? Keep Nakobe? Vic did not want him at edge last year.
No way. I don't think Campbell can play out there.
I don't know if he can either. I mean, he's smaller because he was a rookie last year. So does he grow into his body and potentially have that trajectory? I don't see it, but maybe the Eagles remember because there seems to be a disparity in the logic and the thinking of 2 people on the Eagles. And both of them are very influential, but one much more than the other. Howie clearly saw Jahad Campbell differently than Vic Fangio saw Jahad Campbell. Because if you go back to draft day last year, after they selected Jahad Campbell in the opening press conference, Howie referred to Jahad Campbell as a Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter type player because he referred to them as the Penn State rushers. That would insinuate Howie thought he could be an edge, and Howie doesn't really like drafting linebackers that high. At least that's been his history. So you can make that argument, and then Vic Fangio gets his hands on him and is like, no, he's an off-ball linebacker.
Yeah.
So if they have that disagreement and Howie's going to be here longer than Vic, do they play hardball and say, Vic, you're putting him on the outside? I mean, Vic, you almost hung him up this year. If you retire after next year, I need to prepare for the next 5 years. You're only preparing for 1 year.
Man, I think that's a risky call.
I agree.
If Howie is saying to Vic, who's a professional linebacker coach, I think he belongs out at edge versus Vic's position where you think he's inside. I think you're playing a guy out of position. I take Vic Fangio's word more than I take Howie Roseman's word. Don't you?
I agree with you. But are you getting into that business? Look, this is the business of football.
I get it.
It's different than being a linebacker coach.
And Vic would play – you think Vic would play a guy out of position if he felt he was out of position? Because he was being told.
No, he'll probably end up playing Nolan Smith more.
And that's how you end up firing, or that's how Vic retires. I'm out. I'm not being told that. So, again –
but Vic's probably retiring anyway, dude. You could give Vic everything he wants on a silver platter. He might retire.
Okay.
My whole point is not that you're going to push him into it or keep him out of it. It's that it's such a movable variable that you cannot make decisions based on Vic Fangio's presence on the football team. It's not consistent. It's not something, that has a strong roots in the foundation. It's like building a house on sand. You don't build a house on sand. You build a house on a firm foundation. Same concept. At least that's how I see it.
Okay. I want to ask you one last question here about Davis and Carter. Who could you live without?
At $26 million, we're living without Carter.
No. If you had to live without one of the two players.
Yeah, without Davis, I'd prefer Carter. Based on my understanding of the game. You want to get to the quarterback. Obviously, the league pays defensive tackles and pass rushers higher than they pay nose tackles. They just do. Jordan's been a nose tackle in 4 years. If you drop me down from Mars and you said, watch the first 4 years of Jordan Davis's pro career, you would not come out of there thinking he's a pass rusher.
You think he's better than Dexter Lawrence?
No, not even close. Dexter Lawrence can rush the passer. He had 9 sacks one year.
You think he's better than Quentin Williams?
No.
Man, they went 26 for a 2-down guy, and now they're going to string along Carter. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think those trade? What do you think the trade talk is? You think it's a real thing, or do you think it's a? Well,
I think it could be posturing, could be negotiation.
Would you be shocked if they dealt him?
If they got 2 ones, hell no. I don't think they're going to get 2 ones, but I didn't think the Raiders were going to get 2 ones for Crosby. I really didn't.
I didn't either, especially from that franchise. I thought from like Cleveland you would, but from the Ravens, that's a big one, man. All right. Trey Hendrickson, any interest?
No, not at the price. I think he's going to be expensive.
32 to 34.
I'm just not in. That guy never has done it for me ever. I've never been like, oh, go and get that player. I don't know what it is. I just don't think. I think he's a little overrated. I think he's one-trick pony. I don't think he's going to fit with Vic Fangio. I don't think Vic would even like having him, and I don't think he'd make that big of a difference for what he cost. I'd rather bring in Bradley Chubb and re-sign to Kobe Dean. I mean, and even try Campbell at edge before I went that route. I think there's a lot of different ways to use your capital that are better than Trey Hendrickson.
And now the golden nugget. A.J. Brown. Here we go. No way do I believe that guy's on this football team come September. No way.
Certainly seems like that, doesn't it, Sills?
It really does. I mean, I came out of the weekend. I went into the weekend thinking, you know what? I think there's a good chance the guy's probably going to come back because of that money. But now that you're hearing that they could potentially trade him either going into the draft or even after the June 1 thing and still move him. I like John's take about Micah Parsons setting a new market, the post-June 1 market. I think that's a real thing. Man, there's just too much talk, dude. You're hearing so many people talking about a deal. And how he's talking to everybody on this. So, I mean, right? There's too many teams involved now. Do you think he's on this team in September?
I don't know. I'm moving off of it. I don't think so. It just seems like no. I mean, I still struggle with how you're going to replace the player. But we talked about that thing on Friday with Albert Breer. I mean, it's like, how much more are we going to fucking placate to A.J. Brown? I mean, seriously. So it seems like all indications are that they're going to look to trade him. Another thing that John mentioned this morning on the show was that the Eagles are – what was the phrase he used? I wrote it down. Let me see if I can pull it because it was really good phrase. It was really good phrase. Like almost so much so that I had to pause and was like, what the heck? Jumping through hoops to trade A.J. Brown.
What?
Meaning like they're trying to do like they even floated out a double trade that would allow them to not send AJ till after June so they could limit their cap ramifications, but they could get the deal done earlier. Like,
They would
dude,
carry the money until June?
something like that. Jeremy Fowler put it out, and John referenced it this morning and was like, they're jumping through hoops to try and trade A.J. Brown. He said, this is not like they're fielding. This is not like, oh, yeah, we'll pick up the phone. This is like they are actively seeking the best possible way to trade A.J. Brown. So with that information, I mean, look, I can sit up here and bark all I want. If they're going to trade him, then trade him. Let's try and get the most value we can for him, and they better come up with a good plan to put good people around Jalen Hurts, because I don't think you're doing anybody a service, to just roll out Darius Cooper at wide receiver 2. That's for sure. But if I was Jalen Hurts, I would be like, fuck, get this dude the fuck out of here. I wouldn't trust him for shit. I wouldn't trust him at all. I mean, Jalen has, in a different way, Jalen has defended AJ because he's never, ever said anything to, go against AJ, even when asked. He's never, ever said, oh, AJ shouldn't have done that or shouldn't have expressed himself that way or we'll talk. He's never, ever done that. And then AJ has his agent go and tell Albert Breer, hey, we need a better quarterback. Oh, yeah. We ran the numbers last week, by the way. 5K. Guy's a top receiver in his 4 years with Jalen Hurts. He snaked him.
Can I play the other side with you here for a second?
Absolutely. That's the best thing to do.
Okay. How do you think Troy Aikman handled Michael Irvin?
You'd know that better than me.
Michael Irvin was a very boisterous, very dominant guy on the sidelines, always hollering, get me the ball, this and that. And you got Emmitt Smith on the team. And Troy had to manage him, had to coach that, and had to be a teammate to that, and had to understand that. I think Donovan McNabb made the biggest mistake on the planet by not being the quarterback in the building and being the more mature person. Just to say, fuck that, as you said to me, Xander, getting rid of AJ just because he's an asshole or he's a headache, that doesn't make you a better football team. It makes you a lesser team. Isn't that under more the quarterback's responsibility on, look, not everybody's the same. One guy's a hammerhead. One guy, you don't have to coach much at all. Like Devon, look at the two polar opposites you have in your huddle right now. I don't have to say fucking 10 words, Devontae. He's a pro. He shows up, does his job. He's a great professional. The other guy, I got to have like a binky, and I have to have a whoopee blanket with the guy or a book or something to read to the guy, because you got to kind of placate to that. If you can't, and I'm not sitting there saying, and the only reason that I would placate to AJ is because he's a sensational player. If he's a 53rd guy, I'm fucking getting rid of that guy. How does that make you a better team by just saying, fuck it, let's get rid of him because he's an asshole?
Well, it's funny. I'm happy you went here. I mean, it's a good way to look at it because it's similar to the Jalen Phillips discussion, right? You can acknowledge that the Eagles made the right decision to not pay Jalen Phillips $30 million. Correct. But that doesn't remove the hole on the roster. You can acknowledge that it might be the right move to trade A.J. Brown, but it doesn't address the fact that you're going to have a gaping hole on your roster that you have to make up for a productive player. As I pointed out last week, with over 5,000 yards in 4 seasons and 32 touchdowns. Guy's a productive-ass player, through all the whining and the tears. I hope AJ listens to our segment last week, because if he heard those numbers, I don't even know if he'd believe them. He's got numbers that are right next to Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb. And he's bitching like he's I don't even know who.
And 32 large.
Exactly. So, some people still you meet in life, and you know this, you're from an Italian family. It doesn't matter what they get. They're not happy. They're just not happy.
Miserable humans.
I'm a miserable human. You tell me that. Sometimes I join the show before, and you're like, well, what's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing's fucking wrong with me, guy. I don't want to talk right now. Is that all right? I could be miserable, so I get it. But I think AJ might just be miserable here in Philly.
Reed Blankenship, what happens to him?
Well, I think you got to consider bringing him back strongly. And I'll tell you exactly why. I'm not here to tell you that Reed Blankenship's one of the best safeties, but your defense has been the bread and butter of the football team. The defense was the bread and butter of the team when you won the Super Bowl. The defense was the only shot that the team had last year at being a contending team. So you have Jalen Phillips walking, presumably Nakobe Dean walking. You just obviously paid Jordan Davis, which is big, but you're going to let Phillips, Dean, and then Reed go? That's a big member of each level of the defense. So my hesitation there is, for continuity's sake, on a unit that has worked. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, the defense hasn't been the broken part of this team for the last couple of years. Now, if you want to tell me you don't want to pay $30 million for continuity, I'm okay with that. But $10 million for Reed? I mean, let's see what he gets paid, whether it's here or somewhere else. But I'd like to believe it's probably the right thing to do to pay Reed Blankenship, to keep the continuity on the team, to, not create too much change on a unit that's been super successful and try and run it back that way. But it's free agency, dude. You see how it happens. People get buku deals. They get crazy deals. So we'll see.
I keep talking volume with you here on this. Man, so you get rid of Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Jalen Phillips now.
That's what I mean, dude. It's like a purge every year.
Look at the fucking three guys you could have in your D-line right now. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Jalen Phillips. And you keep telling me, not you, but people keep telling me you can't pay them all. Well, it looks to me like you're not really paying anybody. You're paying a select few guys. I mean, you're losing a lot of good football players, Xander, the last 2 years. Now, is this all a casualty because of that overpaid offensive line? I mean, that overpaid offensive unit? It's a $244 million offense.
The offense.
Look at the good players.
It is partly, but I also don't know that I don't know that I'm gonna buy that excuse. I mean, anymore. One of the reasons that we let Milton Williams walk was why. Do you remember how it was framed up by the Eagles when that happened?
They thought his asking price was going to be too high.
Well, no, yeah, that too. But it was also brought up that they have big contracts coming up with Jalen Carter, who's basically who they referenced.
Yeah,
and I don't see a Jalen Carter deal yet. I know they just paid Jordan Davis way above what anybody thought they were gonna pay Jordan Davis, but
now they got the fifth year in there on that, so that they've got a little space on that.
It's still $22 million a year, $23 million a year with the fifth year.
I got it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so it's $91 million across 4 years. I mean, 22.66 or something like that.
For a two-down guy, man, boy, good for them. I love the fact that the players are getting paid, but man, you're losing a ton of good players.
I'll tell you what, though, too. You say that number on the offense. Man, thinking back on that team this year, that was not a $250 million offense, brother. That was like a fucking flea market offense, man. That was the Temu offense. That thing was bad. So I don't know. Is that Kevin Patullo's fault?
No way. Well, read your supers, guys. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. How about the Dolphins eating $100 million in cap space?
It's crazy. But I'll tell you this, something to watch for. You see what they did with Malik Willis?
Mm-hmm.
I think that could become a trend. 3 years, $67 million deal. It's like a $22 or $23 million deal for a quarterback. And then they're going to do what you've been saying for the last 2 years. Great quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. Great teams do. How much easier is it to build a great team when your quarterback costs $22 million versus $55 million? So and look, maybe it's just because they're paying all that money and the dead cap is so huge. That's why they went with Malik Willis.
No
but
way.
I do think there's a trend to look for where teams will start to prioritize having a better team over having a great quarterback, because we are in the era right now where the great quarterbacks are not winning outside of Patrick Mahomes.
Did you see what's going on in Indianapolis? Indianapolis offered a contract at $33.2 million a year. Daniel Jones wanted a $50 million deal, and the Colts went like this: no, we're not paying that money. So they're starting to see the trend of that, the Sam Darnold contracts, where they can get guys like that, Xander, and not pay the $50, $60 million and build the teams up and go the Sam Darnold deal. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I know you don't think much of this Kyler Murray guy, and I know he's a schwimp, but dude, someone's going to get a quarterback who's pretty decent for $1.4 million.
I mean, so he's not my cut type, but he was the number 1 overall pick. He obviously has talent. So,
but you get him at $1.4 million,
right? And you get a good value for a team.
And you get a good value for who are you going to put in there? I mean, you get an opportunity to have a $25 million quarterback. What was he making? 46.1. He was making 46.1. You get him for a 1.4. I don't know. It's better than Mason Rudolph. He made 46.1.
Did he?
Yeah. That contract was like one of the richest. He made $46.1 million in Arizona annually a year there.
Dude, he was set to make $54.7 million this year.
And that's why you hit, what was it this year? It's $67 million this year for the Dolphins. It's 67.4 for the Dolphins and 31.8 and 27 that they got to hit in cap. You think Dean's out by the end of the day?
I don't know, man. I mean, I thought it'd be done by now.
Me too.
I thought Goddard would be done by now for sure. I mean, lesser tight ends have gone off the board. See, I'll tell you this. The longer it is on Nakobe Dean and Dallas Goedert and Reed Blankenship, the better and more favorable it will be for the Philadelphia Eagles to re-sign them should they choose. Now, they have to choose to want to re-sign them, but if Goddard gets the day 2, he's not getting the money he thought he was getting. If Reed Blankenship makes it past today, he's not getting the money he thought he was getting. Same thing with Nakobe Dean. So, look for that. That could be interesting.
Howie Roseman. Hard to tell what's going on right now, but last year's off. What do you think how good do you think he was last year and going into this year so far? How good do you think he's done?
I think he's been back to a mediocre GM.
Wow, that's really strong.
No, but not that he's back to him. That might be too overstepping. He hasn't been. I'm getting flashbacks. Howie Roseman is amazing at
contracts,
building a Super Bowl contender. There's an old phrase, getting to the top is a lot different than being at the top and staying at the top. Can he keep us at the top? We let Milton Williams walk. We let Josh Sweat walk. We let Jalen Phillips walk. We could be letting Nakobe Dean walk. Right now it looks like the Eagles are on a descent. Now they could correct that. They could correct it, but right now they're on a descent, and we will see if they're able to correct it and stay at the top. I see CJ says I'm spoiled. It's not about being spoiled. It's about analyzing the team every single year. Howie let a lot of people walk. Howie's made a lot of decisions, right or wrong. Howie traded the 3rd-round pick for Jalen Phillips. Howie traded Thomas Booker for Jacorian Bennett. Howie didn't make that many good moves last year. So we'll see if he can correct it, but he hasn't had a great 2-year run, has he?
Well, Steven, he's been mediocre. The only move that he's made in the last 2 years that was worth the shit.
Well, Steven, did you listen to the question? The question was the last 2 years since the Super Bowl. Since the Super Bowl, Steven. Yeah. See, I don't think these people fucking listen. He says this, and then he says, we just won a Super Bowl. Dickhead, I just told you the question was since the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He hasn't been that good. We paid Jordan Davis 26 large. That's and overpaid Saquon, overpaid Cam Jurgens, redid the contract.
Oh, wait a minute, Xander. What you just said, you're re-signing your own guys? Well, congratulations for doing your fucking job at evaluating the right guys that you drafted. That's not a pat on the back. That's that's doing what you thought was right at the draft. Yeah. Losing players is another thing. You're losing a star. Dude, you know what the Philadelphia Eagles have become? It looks like to me like a minor league fucking growth place in an evaluation place where other teams would come and go, hey, what player can I get from the Eagles? Let me go and get Josh Sweat. Let me get Milton Williams. By the way, did you see Jalen Phillips from Philadelphia last year?
Well,
Let's sign that guy to a $30 million deal.
It's actually not the Milton deal that I think back on and wish it was different. It's actually the Josh Sweat deal. Dude, Jalen Phillips got $19 million. Jalen Phillips just got 30.
I know.
I think Josh Sweat might be a better player.
He is.
It's crazy. That's the one I think is tough to deal with.
By the way, that Milton Williams deal now looks like a fucking market deal to me. I mean, you want a good D lineman?
Jalen Thompson. The Cowboys are nearing a deal to sign Jalen Thompson, a free agent safety. I don't know anything about that player.
I'll tell you this, bro. I think the Dallas Cowboys are getting better.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that Rashad Gary deal. I do.
I think they're getting better too. But here's my question for you, because I've been telling people this too, but haven't they been getting better for 30 years?
No, the last 2 years they were not good.
Well, I know, but before that they were 3 straight 12 wins.
Yeah, I know, but they went backwards for the last 2, and I think it had a lot to do with that defense. Bro, I think they've gotten better on defense since the Micah Parsons deal. You got 2 really good defensive tackles. I think Quinnen Williams is a spectacular player. Now you add this guy who gets you like 8.5 sacks every year. You put him around. By the way, Rashad Gary's 6'5", 280 pounds. Bro, the Cowboys look pretty good in their front seven. And if you can add the Kobe Dean, you're getting better. You draft a guy in this. You got 2 number 1s as well.
Yeah, I got some breaking news here. Nothing on the Eagles, but this is going to be tough to fix. It's going to be tough to replace Jalen Phillips, guys, even if you don't like the player. Former Charger defensive end Odafe Owe reached agreement today on a 4-year, $100 million deal, including $68 million guaranteed from the Washington Commanders.
What?
Odafe Owe is getting $25 million per. By the way, can I just put this one in the Big Z cap, my friend? Well, the Washington Commanders GM is a certified stiff. He's a stiff. I told you last summer they were going to be a stiff team because he signed a bunch of old heads, and he continues with the shitty signings. He re-upped Laramie Tunsil, who was mediocre last year too.
I guarantee you, keep an eye on Trey Hendrickson, and that's why they moved him. You watch, they're going to sign him, and they're going to pay $32 million for him.
Boye Mafe just got a 3-year, $60 million deal.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't pay that guy either that money.
Bengals signed him.
I wouldn't. The Bengals.
The Bengals signed Boye Mafe. Dude, Boye Mafe gets $20 million. Odafe Owe gets $25 million.
How much is he getting annually?
Mafe? 20.
Yeah. With the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay. That's because they didn't want to pay 32 for Henderson.
Yeah, well, they overpaid for
Yes. They overpaid. Trey Hendrickson is going to the Washington Commanders. I'll bet you.
I don't know. No, he's not. They just paid Odafe Owe $100 million.
They have $98 million.
So you think they're going to pay Odafe Owe $100 million with $68 million guaranteed, and then bring in Trey Hendrickson?
Oh, I thought it was reversed.
Yeah, no.
I see it.
Bengals signed. There's 2 guys here, and they both have interest. They both have similar names. Odafe Owe went to the Commanders, and then Boye Mafe went to the Bengals. I don't know if I'm saying them right, but that's how
I don't know who he is.
I know them both. They're both solid, but they're not. I did not think they'd be 20 to 25 million. Bradley Chubb's not. But I saw someone say get Bradley Chubb for 15 million. Bradley Chubb's going to get close to 30.
He's going to get closer to 25 million. I don't know if he gets 30.
Well, he probably won't get 30, but I don't know. Did you think Odafe Owe was going to get 25 million?
No. What did you make of the Max Crosby deal?
Too rich. 2 ones? Big, man. And by the way, their receiver 1 is Zay Flowers. Like that. I don't know. I think Crosby's a good player. I think he's actually a good fit for him. I think he's gonna have a good good year there. But
it's a message for Lamar. Lamar, we're still building. We want to build a team around you.
Oh, dude, stop placating Lamar. This is the same guy that made you switch your practice because he didn't want to wake up in the morning.
Bro, this is exactly why they're doing this. That's why Brady left New England. Brady left New England because New England stopped putting good players on that team, and that's why he fucking left.
How about this as an alternative perspective? Ready?
Yeah.
They get rid of Tyler Linderbaum. They let him walk. They trade away their next 2 first-round picks for a defensive player. They sign a defensive head coach, and they continue to make moves on the defense. I think they might be telling Lamar Jackson, we need our defense to win us Super Bowls.
Or they could be doing this as a counter to that. Let's build it like the Eagles do it. Our quarterback's not going to be able to carry us to a Super Bowl. So let's get a running game going in a defense so that my team could carry the stiff quarterback across the finish line.
Jalen's not a stiff.
Come on, man.
He's not a stiff. So all these things that have come, I still cannot believe not a single Eagle news. Here's more just coming in. 49ers sign OT Vidarian Love to 2-year, $12 million. I mean, they're just nonstop. Patriots, there it is. Vidarian.
What'd you make of the Mike Evans deal?
Long for him, 3 years, but it's probably like a 2-year deal. It's probably agent numbers.
Absolutely.
Good. I think the 49ers are a decent contender. I mean, this year, they got to capitalize.
I think it's a 1-year window kind of thing.
Could be a little longer than that. Well, dude, the 49ers have been a pretty good franchise. I know a lot of Eagle fans love to shit on the Niners, but
yeah, but dude, look, Kittle's old. Evans is old. Okay. I mean, we're up there where, you're not looking at a lot of length there.
Even McCaffrey, how much tread does McCaffrey have?
No shit. I mean, even then, so the Cowboys just signed Jalen Thompson to a 3-year, $33 million deal.
Is that what they paid him? I don't know that player.
Yep. And now they have a safety back there because they've got to fill a need back there. And by the way, that's a dude that I bet you Christian Parker has some say in bringing him in and retooling. The Cowboys, look what they're doing. They're building the defense on every level. They're bringing guys in on the D line. Now they got to do linebacker. They brought a guy in at safety, and I thought they made a move earlier also at corner. So, I mean, I think the Cowboys are really adding pieces, dude. When Jerry said he was going to restructure and do things,
you sound like Mark Holmes. Jerry's different this year.
No, I don't think. No, they got to go out and play. These guys got to go out and play. But hey, how about this? You think they're adding talent? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Yes. Easy for me to say. Yep.
Do you think the Eagles are losing talent? Yes or no?
Yep. Yep. That's easy for me to say too. I mean, I saw that everybody had an aneurysm when I made that Howie mediocre comment. But guys, since the Super Bowl ended, Milton Williams departure, Josh Sweat departure, Jalen Phillips goes, Nakobe Dean's going to go. If Reed Blankenship goes, if Dallas Goedert goes, it's been all people leaving. I mean, another maintenance year on the offseason. And, look, I'll end it on this segment today where we started it.
No, we got to do the supers because we got a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we got to we'll rip them. But just because you made the right decision to not pay $30 million doesn't mean that the spot is addressed.
That's right.
So
maybe
you didn't want to pay Phillips 30. I can understand why. But now you got a big ass hole at the edge. And and I think the most important thing, more important than the money, is your football team better? Is it better?
No.
It's not. So we'll see.
Let's do these supers. JAKIB is in the green room. We're going to go to him here in a couple minutes here. So, guys, appreciate you guys with the super chats here. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Here is Prod by Devin. What's up, man? Where do we go from here with an edge rusher? It's a good question.
Draft.
Probably. I mean, if they don't get a big name via trade, I think trade is more likely than free agents at this point, considering Odafe Owe just got $100 million and Boye Mafi got $60 million. So
that's crazy.
I would keep an eye on a trade. but like a Jonathan Grenard, I think would be a great
Yeah.
name, but everybody seems to want him. So we'll see. But it's not, it's bleak. And then if they don't address it, Sills, they're going to use their first round pick on an edge.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because now you have to, with the departure of Phillips, you have to address that number one.
Maybe. Here we go. Here's Mr. Hill. How he penalizes himself for drafting well. Well, that's true. It's a catch-22.
I kind of see what you're saying because you can't sign everybody, but man, you're losing all-star players. All-star players every year are being bailed on now. I mean, I happen to agree with you, Hannibal. I think that Milton Williams deal right now, that $26 million deal of a year ago, I think that thing looks good.
So they just put out the compensatory picks for this year.
Okay.
Coming up. Now, we already knew that the Eagles had these, but they just put a selection on them. This is what Howie does do. We have a compensatory pick this year in 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, and that's it. So the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The 3rd round is going to be pick 98 for the Eagles. The 4th round is going to be pick 137 for the Eagles. The 5th round, it's going to be pick 178 for the Eagles. And in the 6th round, it's going to be pick 215 for the Eagles.
Is that 9 or 10 picks? Is that 9 or 10 picks now they have in April?
Well, I think these were included in the calculation.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go and double check for you, though. But I did want to just give that out there. Here's Mike. What's up, Mike? I truly believe they see a Jomo as the next Milton and don't want to make the same mistake. Combine that with their decreased faith in Carter, it all makes sense.
I think
Jomo
is a little bit undersized. I like the player. So what happens to him if he comes out and balls and all of a sudden this guy turns into a Pro Bowler? You gonna let him walk too?
Yeah. No, they're gonna keep one of them.
Well, they're not letting Carter go.
And considering what Milton Williams got, I mean, how much cheaper is Morrow going to be than Jalen Carter?
Oh, man. I think he's going to get a $20-something million deal.
He might break 30, dude, if he's got a Milton Williams type of year. Here's Cody. Just got off work, been scanning. Any new news? Nothing for the Birds, man. A lot of new news in the NFL is happening.
Nothing yet.
Nothing for the Birds yet. Nothing for the Birds. Oh, wait, I do have one piece of Birds news.
Except what's his name leaving.
Ready for the Birds news that came down today?
Yeah.
The Eagles reworked, never released them, but reworked the contract of Michael Carter. That was it.
Well,
because he was like a $12 million cap hit, so you knew they were going to release him or rework it.
Well, the only Michael Carter that JAKIB and I know is the guy who played nose for the Niners. That guy ain't that guy. I can tell you that.
Here, we got a couple more. Walkell says, Dan, given all the changes, do you still think that the Birds will win no more than 7 games in 2026?
I want to see some more, man. I think they're between a 7 and 9 team right now.
Doesn't look good right now. They got a long way to go, though. JD says, AJ is probably tired of being top of his position every season and hurts his bottom half every year. Get the ball out on time. Well, JD3, I ran the numbers last week. It would insinuate that AJ Brown is being quite productive in his time in Philly. So I don't really know what the bitch is with him. I think the guy's just perpetually miserable.
Yeah, $32 million. You got a net 2 NFC rings and a Super Bowl. Come on, guy.
Here's Pietas. Eagles' only team to do nothing in free agent so far, looking like a rebuild to me. We'll see.
A little bit.
One more. JD says, if Hurts is bottom of the league in passing again for the 3rd straight year, will it be Mannion's fault, AJ's fault, or Nick's? Maybe the QB has just gotten worse every season since 22. Well, I think we've always been pretty honest about what's going on there.
26 is going to tell us a lot here.
If they don't get an edge, they're taking Zion Young or Akeem Mesidor.
I like Mesidor.
Kilgore says, ChatGPT told me Howie does 76% of his 95 trades since 2010 have been before June. What date is it safe to say AJ stays? Post June 1, practice day? No, there is no safe day.
No.
They could trade him like Micah Parsons did right before the season starts.
Yeah, I think they're going to trade him.
Here's Martin Perez, Trayvon Walker, baby. Howie call.
Big Z, Keep me updated on what's going on, man, because the news is working here on Legal Tampering Day. I thought that was one of the craziest lines I ever heard John McMullen say about they're actively, I'm paraphrasing, they're actively basically
Go
trying.
back and listen. I posted it as a short so you can hear it.
Yeah, make sure you guys check it out. They're actively pursuing a deal for AJ. Wow.
He said Howie is jumping through hoops to trade AJ in terms of trying to find different ways to structure the deal so it's beneficial for both teams that are involved in the trade.
Guys, I appreciate each and every single one of you. By the way, all platforms over 1,000 now. Really cool. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Xander, this is going to be a big week this week.
I know it is, dude. We need it. We need a big week here, and let's see if what Howie does. I assume tier 2 and 3 will be big if tier 1 is a nothing burger.
Absolutely. All right, bro. We'll see you in the morning.
Later, man. Thank you, Big Sills.
You got it, man. That is Xander Krause, and now we're going to get JAKIB in here, and we're going to get Gary Cobb's takeaway in here. There's been a lot of movement here. Obviously, going back to the Jordan Davis, and I want to set Gary Cobb up with this. So you gave Jordan Davis 3 years, $78 million, $65 million in guarantees. And he played 87 downs on third down this past year. Jalen Phillips walks out the room, signs a huge deal with the Carolina Panthers. 4 years, $120, $80 million in guarantees. That's 30 annual. A.J. Brown, obviously still there. That's big conversation. But let's bring our friend in from Fox 29. Without further ado, our friend JAKIB joins us now. How you doing, man? All right,
how's
Gary.
it going?
So far, man, let's start it out with Jordan Davis. Signs this big deal, 26 annually.
I think that I think that both parties are happy with that. Jordan Davis is going the direction they want him to go. I think the guy that we saw last year, I think he'll be better this year, because he's kind of matured in the game. Some guys, come into the league and they take a while to grow into things. And I think that, he's definitely been a big plus now. His buddy, Jalen Carter, disappointing last year, man. That's going to be interesting to see how much they're going to give him because, all that 40 talk and stuff, you could forget that. That's not happening. He's not going to get 40. But I think that he could be in the range where.
But Gary, what about all the noise that they're actively taking phone calls on potentially trading him? I mean, 49ers supposedly are in a conversation. There's Bears. There's other teams. This is now the third or fourth time we've heard that conversation potentially. You think the Eagles are a little bit hedging their bet here a little bit when you're talking about maturity issues? You're talking about, again, shoulder issues maybe. I mean, look, I think the guy's a really good football player like you do. But, boy, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, you could sign the guy to an extension right now. He's not a free agent. You got his contract. How come they haven't given him an extension?
Well, I think it's the maturity thing. They don't have time to have a guy that's, still trying to find himself, and not serious. He should be right now, an anchor, on that defense to where, and I'm not just saying from a playing standpoint, I'm just talking about maturity, where the other guys on the defensive line know that, Jalen Carter's going to be doing the right thing he's going to be getting better every year, and he's working and, all of the pluses because, he does have the talent, but they don't need the nonsense. They don't need him taking steps back, because you really look at, Jordan Davis, he had just as good as years, maybe a better year. Now, really, he's not as good of a player as Carter. And so that's a step back for him. Carter didn't play the consistency that you want out of him. You didn't get that last year. And so that's why, he's not going to get the contract that he really wanted. I remember at the beginning of last year with his agent over there at practice and everything. And everybody's talking about, after they win the Super Bowl, and he played such an important role, down the stretch. Of course, the great game he had against the Rams and closing things out and everything. That guy didn't show up right away, for the season last year. He wasn't as dominant, and so you want to see the seriousness from him, that he wants to be as great a player as he can be. And so you want to see a guy that's trying to be, one of the best defensive tackles that's ever played the game. You want that type of talk around him, and to where he's hungry and he's over there early and he's working and he's getting better and he's in great shape and the maturity thing, and that's something that I think they want to see from him. And so it's going to be interesting to see how much money they offer him. Like I said, I don't think he's going to get the offer that he really wants. And I think that Eagles might like him to hear that they're listening to people talk about him, So, but I don't think they want to trade him, because the Eagles build starting with the line and then they look at everything else. And I don't think that they're going to jump up, want to move him, but I think they want to let him know they're not as happy with him as they would like to be.
When you look at Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, do you see Reggie White and Jerome Brown?
No, I mean, you can't put Carter up there with Reggie White. You couldn't put him in that league.
No, that's what I hear. I hear some of the Eagle fans doing that, and I'm like, I don't.
Come on, he hasn't been that kind of a dominant guy who, like when Reggie played, there'd be 2-3 guys on him, and he still was going to be forcing the quarterback throw the ball away, even if he wasn't going to sack him. He was in the other team's backfield all the time. And the guy played, he played hard, and I couldn't say that. Come on, it would be a farce to say that Jalen Carter has played on that level. He hasn't played on that level. Now, he does have the special talent, and you see he can do things, but they need to see him be a dominant player. And with the way that defensive line comes, with the fact that you just had, Phillips, signing with the Panthers and everything. And so I look at the line, a guy like Jalen Hunt, hey man, after the Eagles, when he had a good Super Bowl and had a couple sacks or a sack in the Super Bowl and everything, they got to see more. It's time for him to step up. He's a edge rusher. They went out and got Phillips, because they needed more heat coming off of the corner. And they need Jalen Hunt to step up. And I tell you, really, it's going to be interesting what they do with Jahad Campbell, because with Phillips leaving, they might think more about having him coming off the corner, see.
You're the second guy. Xander said that too. You think they'll move him out there? And would that lead them to bring back Dean?
That's the thing, that
because of the loss of Phillips, Gary, maybe what that did was it opened up a spot there on the Eagles for Dean to come back.
It could be, I think they would like to keep Dean. I mean, yeah, he has to stay, he has to, be out there more, the injuries and things, but just being around, I mean, the defense, Nakobe Dean was the leader of the defense.
Yeah.
When he's in there and he's calling the signals and everything, he's a guy that they respect. So many of the guys he's already played with, all the Georgia guys, he already knows them. But when he barks at guys, they respect him. Guys will play hard for him, and he has an ability which really it's not talking about him as a player, which he's shown, he can be a special player too. But the big thing is he's the leader. He takes over the defense. He pushes the guys. And that's not everybody's personality is to do that. but he's got that. He's the leader of the defense. He's the one call the signals. He's the one that the guys respect him enough, and he can get in a guy's face and push him and everything. So I think this could open the door for that.
Gary, what about the loss of Jalen Phillips? You reference it. You know, they lose this player, $30 million. The deal is 4 years, 20, 80. Two things can be true. Okay, look, is this guy a $30 million a year guy? I don't think he is. However, you're not better right now without him being on that team. You've created another hole here, right? So, I mean, his impact being knocked off this football team is what? Because when he got here, I thought he stabilized that defense. That's a big loss. Do you not agree?
I definitely agree because, there are certain things where, he's not the dominant, guy that I could say is, the best at his position in the league or anything. But he is, a lot of things. He plays the run as well as he plays the pass. He's smart. And he plays hard, so he would have been getting even more comfortable in the system. See, so who knows? Maybe he would have gave them even more this year than he gave them last year. And if he gave them more, maybe they would have been thinking about giving him that 30. If he'd have given him more. I mean, if he double-digit sacks, if he'd come in and done something like that, but. He does leave a gap there. Somebody's got to step up into that gap. They got to go out and get somebody or whatever. But the guy is a good player, and if you got him rushing, he gets one-on-one. A lot of times he is going to put pressure on from that side, which is something that you need. You need your edge rushers to be able to beat one-on-one blocking.
Gary, I'm going to ask you. Okay, the last 2 years, you've lost Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Jalen Phillips, potentially Nakobe Dean, Isaiah Rodgers, all these really good football players. I keep being told that you have a lot of great players on the team. When I see all these great players and you're not replacing those guys, do you think this football team right now is a Super Bowl contending football team on defense? With here's your edge rushers right now. Nolan Smith. I mean, let's be candid here. May 1st, are you going to pick that 5th-year option up? Well, that's a first-round pick. How do you think he's done as a first-round pick? If he's a rotation piece going into his 3rd year, that's a miss, dude.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I can't. Yeah, he has not, played on that level. No, no, he, with he was a first-round guy.
30th pick.
Yeah, I mean, they need him to step it up. I mean, to be a dominant player. Now, I can't say that you saw that last year. I'm looking at a game and not hearing his name very much.
Yeah, Jalix Hunt's outdone him now, right? Jalix Hunt looks like a better prospect right now.
Well, I'd say
Nolan
Smith, probably a
right?
better pick, meaning like he was picked later.
Yeah, he's a 3rd-round pick versus the 30th pick.
He was picked later, and you say that they would say, you know what, we have gotten something out of him. He was a 3rd-round pick. But I say with Nolan Smith now, now he did have a good year in that Super Bowl year. So he had a good year there. Last year, he was out there, but I'm just thinking through last year. Now, did I see a lot of Nolan Smith? No. I see him, he's running down the quarterback and he's coming off the corner. And no, I can't say that I've seen that. So, they were happy with him after that Super Bowl year because he contributed in the Super Bowl and everything. But last year, I can't say that he took another step.
Gary, they passed on Max Crosby. Obviously, 2 number ones the Ravens gave up, which was a lot.
Yep.
Okay, Trey Hendrickson, whatever you think of him, he's still out there, potentially with an opportunity to go to Philadelphia. Maybe I heard Buffalo also with him. I mean, Howie Roseman. How does he make the football team better this offseason? Solely through the draft?
Well, I think that today, right at this point, right now, they got to do something about that. Somebody coming off that corner. I mean, I don't see anybody who would say like, "Whoa, man, such and such is coming off the corner." I think they definitely stepped back with Phillips leaving. They stepped back.
And still at corner, you need a corner too, right?
Could you? Yeah, well, yeah, you do need a corner. You're correct. I thought they were thinking about doing that in the draft, but yeah, they need help at the corner. That's right. They definitely need help, and people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the excuses. And for the defense to be an outstanding defense, I mean, you gotta put pressure on the quarterback. I mean, that's a given. So,
do you think they're going to punt on Jalen Carter's extension this offseason here? But meaning that they're going to pick the 5th-year option up, and they're not going to address a 3-year deal, and they're going to wait and see how he plays in 26? Or do you think they still address it, and you're going to pay $61 million to two guys in the middle? That's a lot of change, man.
Yeah, that is a lot of change. I know they're going to have an upset play. I tell you, they'll get his attention if they they get his attention because the guy that he thought he was the guy. I know last year they were talking 40. Last year after the Super Bowl, coming into the season, he's got an agent over there at camp and everything. I'm hearing 40 something. So that's not happening now. I don't see that happening. So I do think that I don't know if they're going to be able to work that out though. My goodness, because he was thinking of big numbers. I know before, but how is he going to feel if he's just making? Let's say he's making $4 million more. Let's say he's making 30. Would he be happy with 30?
Would he be happy?
I don't see how they give him a whole. He does not deserve 40. No, there's no way. No way.
Gary, do you believe that A.J. Brown will be on this team in September?
I still think he is. Yeah, because it's it's going to be they want to have him here, and I think that they probably told the new offensive coordinator Mannion, that he was one of the guys that they wanted him to see him shine the way he's capable of shining. So I think he's looking for that, and then I think that they're going to take a hit in the cap if they do that. So I think that they will look, but I don't think anybody's going to give what the Eagles are talking about, like a 1 and a 2. They ain't giving 1 and a 2, So I think if the Eagles hold their head, and then by doing it that way, then they keep him here. They say we were trying to work something out. If he says, but I think AJ will. If he's got a system here where they're going to feature him and let him do his thing, I think he'll be happy here playing here. But but I don't think he's going anywhere. I think the Eagles are going to ask too much. They've already said a first and a second. Who's going to give them a first and a second for a guy that's almost 30 years old?
And the noise is that, Howie's been like jumping through hoops to try to get AJ gone.
Yeah, well, that's what he wants some people to say. Yeah, I call it. But, you can talk to people. That don't mean you're looking to trade him.
Agreed.
You're playing the game with him. And the offensive coordinator, like I said, Sean Mannion, I'm sure part of this thing that they were in there talking about was A.J. Brown was part of this, and I know he would be crying the blues. If I was him, I'd cry the blues. Man, you're not going to get rid of that guy. I mean, come on, man. That was part of my deal. That's come on.
You're Sean Mannion, and you get rid of AJ Brown. Thank you.
Yeah. Come on, man. You are not
Gary,
you let them know. Look,
do you think they look like they're in a rebuild?
if they let go of AJ, they are, yeah, and they know though that people are not interested in any rebuild. They're interested in this team that they knew you had. You got two outstanding receivers that are not being used enough. They're not being featured. We weren't able to, when they went to the Super Bowl the year before, that was on the back of the running game. That was on the back of the running. The Eagles' offensive line, Saquon Barkley, that's the way they went to the Super Bowl the year before. They ran the ball, and then they would throw it, on occasion, but it wasn't really a NFL passing offense. It wasn't. It was, you know what it looked like?
When you get rid of AJ,
I was at USC and we were running the ball and throw the ball, 10 times or whatever. Tell the other team, hey, we're running the ball on you guys, man. Dude. I mean, come on. And that's the way the Eagles were with the Saquon. My goodness, they look how much they ran the ball that Super Bowl year. And, but they were having so much success. Who could argue with it? But you cannot have a passing offense that, it just seemed like such a simple passing offense. They want to do a lot more. And that's why I think, AJ Brown wants to stay here. He's going to want to stay here to see if he can be featured in this offense and see, because if they show him things they're going to do with him and he's happy about it, he doesn't want to go in. He's not going to want to go anywhere.
I cannot wait to see how this plays out, Gary, this week.
But we're going to find out right away, because if it's not working, it's going to get ugly.
Do you think they're going to trade Jalen Carter?
No, I don't think they're going to trade him. I don't think he's going to be happy though, because I don't know if they're going to give him the money he wants. Because he hasn't been consistent. Last year, come on,
Drew Rosenhaus wants north of $35 million.
I know he would want. I know that's what he wants. I know that that's what they want.
$37 million.
That's right. I know that's what they want. But I don't think the Eagles are going to be willing to do that, because off of the year he had last year, he did not play $37 million. He did not play that kind of a season last year. I mean, there's sometimes you wonder, like, hey, is Jalen Carter out there?
Right on, man.
There were quite a few games like that. Come on, you're going like, hey, is he out there? I mean, Jordan Davis had a better year than he did.
That's right. He did. He had
a better year than he did. And come on, nobody saw Jordan Davis anywhere near him. So, but I think in the long run it'd be good, because they could put some, just talk to him about what they want to see, and they would be willing to give him the money. But he's got to play consistently, and the thing is, he's capable of being, a great player to the level of being, of course, a perennial Pro Bowl player, and eventually, he's good enough if he plays all the time to be a Hall of Fame level player.
Well, he's got to get there, because he needs to up his game.
Yeah, he's got to up his game, and so if he's not going to do that, then they don't need to give him that money. No, they don't need to do it.
35 annually and 75 guaranteed.
But I tell you, boy, there's a lot of money, boy, floating around out there, boy. Man, I tell you.
You know what, Gary? Good players are making exceptional money now. Good for the league. You know what I mean? Good for the league.
Good for the league. But I tell you, if a guy produces, boy, he's going to get paid, man, because that money is out there, and that's why really you look at Jalen, man, dude. Whatever nonsense you were thinking had on your mind last year, you need to get it out of your head, and you need to play the way you're capable of playing, and working with with his buddy, with old Jordan Davis. Guess he needs to be over there working out like he is, and we'll see, because they need those guys to be dominant, and if they got to dominate there in the middle, man, because I don't know what they're going to get coming from outside.
That's right. Those edges are a little light. JAKIB, I appreciate you very much, my friend. Thank you so much. We will see what happens. Fox 29, Gary Cobb, thank you, my friend. All right, man. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight. I got a text message here. It's funny when I bring up the name Jordan Davis to Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach. The guy just perks up and it's just so excited about talking about the guy. When I bring Jalen Carter's name up, he says a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of film. It's a lot of technique. It's a lot of remembering things. It's a lot of going over things repetitively with him. He said the one thing about Jordan Davis is you tell him one time, he'll do it. He goes, Jalen Carter, on the other hand, he plays so much on his ability. Okay? Now, again, I'm not making anything of it. I'm just telling you that I think Clint Hurt, in my opinion, he didn't tell me this, that he enjoys coaching Jordan Davis more than Jalen Carter. Okay? That he enjoys it. That he enjoys that. So Jalen Carter is the reason we won't last year alongside our defensive backs. Your hate for the Eagles, once again, Jeff, I don't give a fuck about your Eagles. I cover a football team. You're the one that has all that. I don't give a shit about that. I don't see any big play coming unless there's a trade. Have the extended kick, that's right, kick the can down the road, and I think that is exactly what Howie's going to do. Okay? He's an idiot for paying for you to call him an idiot. Try to make sense, douchebag. I don't see any, yes. My friend, positivity and negativity make the world go around. I'm not the one making these deals. And as a matter of fact, if you heard me say it earlier, okay? I mean, if you heard me earlier, you're not a better team today, but I'm not paying $30 million. Howie fundamentally, for the roster and for this cap, did the right thing. Does the Davis deal mean that Big Clint's next DC? That I don't know. Okay? Seattle's paying the Super Bowl tax now. Lost OC what? The running back is expendable. The Super Bowl MVP that you guys think that award means, get this, you think the Super Bowl MVP award means that you're a good player or a great player. It means you had a great game. Kenneth Walker's replaceable. Wide receiver 2 is replaceable. The OC's not. Clint Kubiak's not. The only guy on that list, Big Rhythm, that's not replaceable is that OC. The rest of them dudes, that's like telling me Jahan Dotson's not replaceable. I mean, right? Had a big game in the biggest game of your life. So what? They moved off him. Super Bowl MVP. Look at his career. He's not an elite back. Here's who you're saying is an elite back. Kenneth Walker is an elite back. Here's an elite back. The other guy on the team's better. The other guy that got hurt's better player. Here, 1,050 his first year, 9 touchdowns. Pretty decent. 905, 8 touchdowns, 573, 7 touchdowns, and 1,026. He's a good player. He's not elite. That's not a great back. That's a really good back. That's not a back you're going to build your football team around and give $20 million to or $13 million to. Why would you do that? I'll find another guy. Okay? If the Birds offered Phillips 27.5, they will find somebody else. Like who? They didn't want to go north of 27.5. By the way, that Carolina Panther deal was done Friday. Panthers offered him 30 and the guarantees of 80. And the Eagles didn't want to match it. They gave the Eagles until like 9 o'clock Monday. And once the Eagles didn't match it, Drew Rosenhaus pulled the trigger with Dan Morgan of the Carolina Panthers, and they signed a contract. I'm in Newport Beach in 70-degree blue sky weather listening to how Howie is going to go Temu shopping. This team is going to be horrible again. If Big Sills covered Seattle, you let your Super Bowl MVP walk. How are you better? No, that's not what I say. A Super Bowl MVP award means dick to me when it comes to evaluating a player. Unless you're somebody like John Elway or Manning or a Tom Brady, who's multiple guys who go to the game and win the award and does things during the regular year. You make your money during the regular season, and your accolades go to you in the postseason. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Have you ever heard me say, wow, that guy is such a great player because he won the MVP in the Super Bowl? When have you ever heard me say that? Even Tom Brady. I've never referenced those. Brady's great every day. Whatever, guy. I don't have to sit here and justify myself to stupid takes. You can honestly win in the draft, but you have to make sure you get it right. And that's not an easy task to do, especially, it's absolutely true. Can anybody tell me what the Eagles have done this offseason so far to get better? The Cowboys have, remember though, Roy, the Cowboys have further to go than what Philly does. They don't have to make these gigantic moves. The Cowboys are trying to make moves to get even with the Eagles. Okay? Now, clearly, losing Jalen Phillips. So in the last 2 years, here's your D-line. You've lost Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Jalen Phillips in the last 2 years. I never said they lost elite players. I was just referencing you saying we aren't better. Most good teams get worse the next season. Rams have been the only exception in the last couple of years. I think you've been pretty good the last 4 years. Just starting? What's left? So help me understand the logic behind valuing picks that are the best. Are the top, that's right, are the top of day 3 players. Oversigning good players, free agency is not getting better to me. Listen, like you said, though, you let Jalen Phillips go, you're lesser team. The logic is right in letting him walk because of the money. Okay? Okay? Who is a good replacement for Phillips? I'll say one more time here. Wanted him last year, and we got Ojulari. Draft and trade? Okay. Now, Chubb hasn't signed yet. Was there really a big name in free agency or game-changing worth overpaying unless you're a player away from pushing you over the top, like maybe Max Crosby? Well, okay, Sasha, how about this? So you let Jalen Phillips go. Did he not make you better last year? I thought he made your football team better. I did. I thought he made your team better. If you don't sign any decent edge rushers by the end of tomorrow, we are not signing anyone other than Dollar Tree players. It'll be the draft. Yeah, and I don't believe you're going to get better in the draft. You're going to find a guy, and all of a sudden this guy's going to be a 10.5 sack guy or a guy that will set the edge. We'll see. All the best free agents are all Eagles. Howie's trying to sign all of them. Signing JP to $30 million a year or for 5 sacks a year. I agree. But you're not better. You lost a good player. The Patriots better give the Eagles whatever they want for A.J. Brown if they want to take the next step. Otherwise, we lost free agency. We got a 7 DAC LB, FBI pissed and ready to cash out on Wolf. You're talking Elliott Wolf, the guy up in New England. I think Howie's going to try to load up on this year, next year's draft. Boy, it surely looks like a rebuild to me. But he's trying to do it on the fly. Still, so the only perspective you have, Eagles got worse, bad season coming. No. You haven't replaced anybody in the last 2 years with anybody. Well, you tell me, Brandon, what's your perspective? Do you have a different one? I'm listening. So your only perspective, the Eagles got worse. As of right now, they have. Bad season coming. Okay. Well, you tell me, Brandon, what do you see differently then? I'm waiting. You tell me. Tell me. I'm waiting. Coming around to my rebuild thoughts stills, about time. Oh, well, when I said 7 wins, dude, what'd you think I was saying? We still Super Bowl champs, bro, at heart. Have faith. You're Super Bowl champs at heart? Nothing. Was hoping for more. Okay. I agree. Not right. By the way, I love this deal here for Tua going to the Atlanta Falcons. You paid $880,000 for him. You got Tagovailoa going to the Atlanta Falcons for $880,000 instead of paying $54 million. I don't know. I mean, that's a quality move. It's no risk. Falcons are spending no money. You're basically paying for this guy like less than a 7th rounder. I mean, what's the gamble? Do you think Saquon bounces back or he's on the edge of regression? Jeff, one of the $1 million questions this offseason. I think it has a lot to do with your health and your tackle, your guard and center position with Landon Dickerson and also with Cam Jurgens. Yet to be determined. This year will tell us a lot. I don't know that yet. You know, he still had 1,100 yards. Feels maybe you're right. Starting to look like a rebuild. Sure is. But on the fly, right? Okay. Just negative. What? So wait a minute, guys. What's this? Negative comment after negative comment. Okay. Well, let's look what happened today. And let's look just on a perspective. You're paying a guy $26 million a year in Jordan Davis, who gets pulled off the field on third down, who plays 87 snaps on third down, and the majority of the time you're in third and long. Okay? That's a lot of money to pay for a first and a two-down guy. You lost Jalen Phillips today to your football team. That made you worse. I'm not sure what you're fucking talking about, douchebag. And AJ's still on the team. Even John McMullen said that Howie Roseman is jumping through hoops, trying to make a deal to get rid of him and trade him. Isn't me talking. What a tool. I didn't love the Jordan Davis signing. People say he deserves it so much, but didn't even get into shape till the contract year. Yeah, well, I just don't like the fact that he's a two-down guy. Twist, I don't care who we lose on defense. When this offense continually underperforms, defense isn't the issue. Okay, fair enough. And theoretically, too, Twiz, they haven't done shit to address anything on offense. You think he's trying to make a play for Jeremiah Smith? If Howie Roseman is thinking of Jeremiah Smith, he thinks he has a 5-win team then. Sasha, you're right. Reasoning to sign Davis and let the guy walk to New England, and now there's a question about Carter. You know what you had with who walked? Exactly. You could play him up and down the line of scrimmage, Sasha. You got a one-dimensional football player who had a good year. And I'm not saying it. Look, Jordan Davis had a good year. 26 large? Wow. For a guy you pull off the field. Rebuild on the fly? Expound, please. Losing season incoming. Again, well, here. So now you have a hole at edge. You have a hole at corner. You lose Blankenship. You'll have one at center or at safety. I think you need more help in the interior with depth in your D-line. And I clearly think that Nolan Smith has not panned out. On the offensive side, you've got to hope the center and guard, left guard, Landon and Cam bounce back. Okay? You got to hope that the running back hasn't regressed, because the $244 million offense you have underperformed in 2025. It regressed. So much so that you hired a brand new entire coaching staff. By the way, this is all the things you've done this offseason. Here's the things. Let's go down the M. Reyes line. Here's what your offseason has been. Okay, here. I'm just going by your actions. Okay? For the Eagles, 2026. Okay. So here's what you did so far. Okay? And then you could tell me if I'm wrong or right here. Okay? Your offensive coaching, you've hired a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new passing game coordinator, a brand new run game coordinator. You have a brand new offensive line coach. You fired Jeff Stoutland, basically. You now have lost Jalen Phillips so far. You've re-signed and extended Jordan Davis. Am I missing anything? Am I missing anything? Anything? Like anything positive? A offense who's 25th. You lost Dotson? Whatever. Not the big deal. What else did I miss anything? You lost Christian Parker too. That's right. So here's what your offseason has been so far. By the way, I'm only reading what you've done. This guy's trying to make this about me. Here's what the Eagles have done, good and bad. Okay? Good and bad. Got a brand new OC, never called plays. They got Josh Grisard, who was fired by the Bucs as your new pass game coordinator. You got a new run game guy. You've got a new offensive line coach. You fired Jeff Stoutland. You have, let's see, you lost Christian Parker. You extended Jordan Davis. Have I missed anything else? Good or bad? Add it. These are all things you've done so far to March 9th. Let me see here. Got to double check. Got to double check here. Hold on. Okay, here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is that anything else? Can we wait till the draft? Well, wait a minute. That's a great take. Are you going to try to sit there and tell me the day after you draft 3 players that you don't have any idea how they're going to play until they get into the NFL, that you're going to sit there and say you had a good draft on that Monday? How would you know that? They don't even have helmets yet. Don't you have to wait and see how they play? Give them 3 years? How will you know if you have a good draft? Based on what, RC3? How will you know if they're good? How will you know that? Handpicked? What does that have to do with guys not owning helmets or a pair of shoulder pads? They wouldn't even have a pair of shoulder pads or helmets that Monday after the draft. And you're going to sit there and tell me you think you had a good draft? Based on what? Based on what, dude? Bro, listen to this guy. The goalpost is now at the draft will not benefit you. No. The draft, don't know if it will benefit you. That's not what I said. How do you know that? When you draft a guy who's never played a down in the National Football League and doesn't even own a helmet, on Monday, you're going to proclaim that they had, because they played at Eagle Creek University, that it's a good draft pick? That's how you look at the draft, Emreyes? Wow. So if a guy plays great against Eagle Creek University, you're going to just assume by giving that guy, so the draft is a complete toss-up for everybody then. Yeah. Welcome to reality? Yeah. There's no such thing as metrics and analytics for incoming players. Correct? Do you think we were born yesterday? No, I think you were. You're giving the benefit of the doubt. And you're going on potential. Potential means you haven't done shit. Okay? You're borrowing with that claim. Bro, I've had that claim for 35 years in sports talk that I've had. That claim. I've never given a great grade out on a Monday. How do you know? I haven't even seen the guy or heard anything about the guy in minicamp. Sales, Eagles have to get younger and less expensive. We could be looking at needing 4 O-linemen soon. Yes, I told you that. You're going to, next 4 years, you're going to have to replace almost that entire offensive line outside of Jordan Mailata. Draft picks are all about projection. You're projecting the worst and others may project the best. Both can be right. Correct. That's why you can get a Moro Ojomo in the 7th. And that's a really good pick. Or you can get a Nolan Smith at 30. That's not a good pick. I mean, according to M. Reyes, Nolan Smith is supposed to be a great football player because he went to Georgia and he was drafted 30th. Well, that's not been the case. That's not been the case. Or that Sidney Brown being a 3rd rounder. Or here's a better one. Cooper DeJean going in the 2nd round. If you redid that, Cooper DeJean's a top 15 pick. He's a top 15 guy. Here, if you did Q, he ain't the 22nd player taken. Q's the 10th player taken. Maybe higher. Jordan Mailata, a 7th rounder. Jordan Mailata is probably the 7th pick in the NFL draft. That's how good that pick is. Josh Sweat, when you got him in the 4th, Josh Sweat's a 1st-round pick. He's probably around 24 because of the knee. If you had to do that all over again. Landon Dickerson, not now, but when you drafted him the previous years, Landon Dickerson's probably a top 15 pick. Cam Jurgens, too. Now, this last year, obviously the injuries caught up. But, yeah, Andre Dillard is probably a 5th-round pick. Jalen Reagor's a 4th-round pick. According to M. Reyes, though, you're giving people the benefit of the doubt. Well, no, you don't give anybody the benefit when you get drafted. You got to wait and see. 3 years before you know what the player is. 3 years. You give the player 3 years. That's why the average career of an NFL player is 3 years. I've been an Eagle fan since Cunningham. Young fans don't get it. This is a cycle. Every good team goes through this. Howie has to regroup and rebuild again. He paid to play in one now to rebuild. Yeah, I don't think it's a massive rebuild, but they're totally rebuilding here. And the reason that you do this, when history and you already show the Eagles have had success in recent drafts, okay? Let's see this here. They've had success in recent drafts, okay? Devontae Smith has been a really great pick. Great pick. Cam Jurgens was. Landon was. These look like they're going to be short careers. Hurts was a good pick. You needed a linebacker, so you got Bond. You needed an edge, so you got Phillips. And you had Reddick. You got really two good-looking prospects at corner. They're not prospects anymore. They're good players in DeJean and Q. Yes. In recent history, it's been that way. But also in recent history, look at the players that you've lost in the last 2 years. You're not retooling the shed. You see what this guy's missing out on? You tell me, if you brought in the last 2 years, if you've brought in players that replace Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Jalen Phillips, Isaiah Rodgers, Nakobe Dean. By the way, Nakobe Dean is a free agent now, just to keep score here. So, I mean, he's an Eagle at heart, but right now he's a free agent. Okay? Have you brought in players to replace those guys? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you think Howie and the organization is in Hurts? A 6? And whose call is it to pull the plug on Hurts? The owner. The general manager and the head coach don't have the onions, or do they have the power to pull a $250 million contract? Do you think down in Miami, the new head coach pulled the trigger, or the new GM, on Tua and the $100 million that they have on dead cap money? Who do you think made that call? That was Stephen Ross's call. Ajomo did not replace Milton Williams. Hunt did not replace Josh Sweat. Campbell is a good-looking player, but wait a minute. Campbell didn't replace Nakobe. Vic started him over him. You think Campbell replaced Nakobe? That's not what Vic said. When Nakobe came back, he benched him. Or are you going to lie on that one too? No. Wow. You think Moro Jones was a better player than Milton Williams? Man, how fucking dumb. So it's recent history. Get this. Dude. Milton Williams is a better ball player than Jordan Davis. Can they put Campbell? You know, a lot of people are talking that way. Okay? Why hasn't Dean picked up and been picked up yet? Well, there's 2 reasons. 1, the Eagles are trying to keep him. 2, he's got multiple offers. He's got multiple offers and multiple opportunities. So, I mean, his agent could be going over right now. Broncos, get this too. Listen to this. I want you to hear this. So, Alex Singleton has re-signed with the Denver Broncos, a 2-year deal worth $15.5 million with $11 million in guarantees. Alex Singleton's a good player. Nakobe Dean's probably going to get somewhere in the excess of $13 million a year. So the Chiefs look like they're giving Travis Kelce a 1-year, $12 million deal with max value at $15 million to come back and play. To me, that really helps Jordan Davis. I mean, that helped Dallas Goedert coming back. They made that guy take a pay cut. Kate Otten went back to the Buccaneers. So maybe you get Dallas Goedert back at $7 million. Yep. Just saw it. Thank you very much, Nick. Yep. Let's see here. Let's see. according to RC3, let's see what kind of, if he says over, he's done. Let's see if Travis Kelce didn't have a good year last year. Based off of RC3, says he's cooked. Travis Kelce had 76 catches and 851 yards as a receiver and 5 touchdowns. That's better than any tight end has had in the last 20 years in Philadelphia. And Mahomes was out 3 games. He'd have been over 1,000 yards. 11.2. Had 5 touchdowns. 76 catches. Hell, he'd have led the Eagles in catches, wouldn't you? Those are well, he's a tight end. Kelce officially Goddard numbers look better with TD. Lots of 5-yarders. Yeah, I agree. No, he didn't, actually. Sills, aside from durability issues with Nolan, another issue is he's playing in the wrong scheme. He should be in a 34. I completely agree with that. Hard to run those 34s. Like, I think he'd be good in Tampa, Nolan Smith, because of the nose tackle. Or, you know where else, too? He'd be good in New York with the Giants because they run off of that 34 look. I agree. I think when they have that 52 look and that 43 kind of look that Vic runs, and, you know, I think he'd look great in a pure 34. I don't know. So the draft won't help the Eagles this year. I don't know. How do you know? I don't know. Let's take a look at this. How much did the draft help your team last year? RC3. How much did the draft help your team last year? Just curious. How much did it help you? How much did last year's draft help you? RC3, just curious. That doesn't mean it's a bad draft, though. I'm not calling that a bad draft. I'm not calling that a bad draft. Look at this guy. Helped a lot. We got folks to help until Dean Makuba got hurt and was a non-factor for the remaining year. You don't know that guy's going to ever stay healthy. Look at that guy lie to you guys and tell you got a lot of help from your draft last year. Holy shit. Campbell was solid. Makuba was great until he got hurt. And then Campbell got benched. Campbell was a healthy bench. I don't know. Look at this shithead deny the capability of these players. I don't know. I don't do that shit. What are you right now? Who are you? Bro, you're the dumbest dude I've ever had any of my shows in the 35 years. So dumb. Ajoma better in games played, sacks. So you think, Twiz, that Mauro Ajoma's a better player than Milton Williams. Congratulations to you. Nobody on the planet thinks that. I like Makuba, but some fans think he's amazing. I don't see that. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. Again, maybe in the next 2 years he elevates. Okay, I do. I do think that, you know. Seals, when Vic was about to retire, they called Schwartz, but that doesn't make sense to go back to the wide nine with Davis resigning. He wouldn't fit. Yeah, I think that's not going to happen now. I think with that Davis signing, I think they're going to elevate somebody like Clint Hurt, and he'll be the new DC. Okay? Wait, Seals, we can't forget about Ringo. Yeah, but again, I'm talking about last year's draft. You know? I mean, last year's draft, I think, look, by the way, I'm not out on anybody. I'm just not one of these people that sit there and go, this guy's great, that guy's great, based off of like one season. I want to see it. I'm not down on anybody. I do too. Look, I'm not there. I like Makuba. There's upside with him, okay? Just got to stay healthy. I totally agree with your take, Hart. I completely agree with that. I'm not either way on him. No, I wear fucking legendary shirts. Clint going to be the next DC for sure. I agree. How he had faith in some of the... Now, that is a great take right there, SS. You're right. How he had faith in being able to put those dudes in. I completely agree. Seal, so you want a part-time player with worse numbers. I didn't say he's a better player, but definitely replaced him. Okay? I'm not arguing you, dude. Seal's thoughts on Trent Williams on the trading block. Who would he be a fit? Boy, man. I'll tell you this. If Lane Johnson had retired, I'd put big O-ass Trent over there on that right tackle position and have Trent going over to that right side. That guy could still play. 12-time Pro Bowler, first team. He'll be a first-time first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, oof. As a matter of fact, I actually like the idea. How about doing this? How about the Eagles signing Trent Williams and putting him at right guard? Put Trent Williams at right guard. Okay? Put him at right guard. Put Trent Williams at right guard next to Lane. You'd have Lane Johnson, Trent Williams, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Jordan Mailata. I might like to see that. Micaiah Becton is a zit compared to Trent Williams. Still no news on the Eagle front. I think that's a good thing. I do. I think that's a good thing, man. Oof. I think the Cowboys are getting closer to signing him. That'd be you put Trent on that right guard. Man, put him right next there. Put him in there. Could Trent play right guard? Probably. He's such a great athlete. I think a lot about Clint Hurt. I think he's really done a great job at getting the best out of Jordan Davis. He's really great. He's a really great coach. He's one of the best coaches on that coaching staff. Great direction. He's played the position. I really like him a lot. A lot of people respect him. He's a no shit guy. By the way, he gets on all their faces, tells them the way it is, not. Okay. Greenlaw got released, huh? Wow. I hear you talking about players, and I get it, but you don't think a lot of the issues were the coaches on. No. Jeff, if you got bad coaches in the NFL, and I don't care who the player is, you got bad coaches and developing of players, those players will not be developed. There's no question that's true. Okay? There's no question. Man, Sills, that's a great take on Williams. Barkley would come to life again. Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Jordan Mailata. Go. Cost you some dough, though, to bring that dude in. Do you think the 400 plus million Phillies pushed into all those void years has something to do with their lack of activity so far? Absolutely. It's not just about not being able to sign everybody. These guys got bills due. Absolutely true. These guys got a ton of money due. Absolutely, man. Not me. Hey, if Jalen Carter has a Pro Bowl year and his number starts to float near 37 million, 38, I don't have a problem paying that. And here's what you're running into. So do you think that Drew Rosenhaus, because he didn't have a very good year last year, Drew Rosenhaus doesn't think like you guys? Sign him now. Get him in a deal. Howie's going to try to undercut the deal. Howie Roseman wants to give the guy $29 million, $29 to $30 million, $29 to $31 million. Not happening. Not when Jalen Phillips just got $30 million. Drew Rosenhaus ain't going for that. Trey Hendrickson might sign between 32 and 34 million. The Eagles aren't offering the money, or he'd have a deal. You're missing it. If the money was on the table, the deal would be signed. They may have signed them together. Hey, congratulations. The Philadelphia Eagles, their biggest investments are signing Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, and they do it at the same time. Well, how come they haven't? And they got both players' rights. They're not free agents. Where's that deal? I'll tell you exactly where it is. Drew Rosenhaus is not going to let that guy sign for anything less than $35 million. And I don't think the Eagles are ready to go there. That would reset the market. Highest paid DT, I believe, is still Chris Jones at 32. So you think the Eagles are going to reset the market? 26 million and then a 35 million? No way. No way. They're going to kick it down the road. You don't think the Eagles have offered a contract to Drew Rosenhaus for Jalen Carter? And that they were just negotiating the Jordan Davis deal? And the Jalen Phillips deal? I mean, Drew was there for 3 guys. And 1 got done. 1 left. You think Drew Rosenhaus is going to play fair ball with him? Based on what? Drew thinks the same way that you do. Howie thinks he's going to get a deal because the kid didn't play well, played a shitload of snaps and got hurt. You know what Roseman's going to look at the kid and say? Tell you what, we're going to gamble on ourselves too. They're going to pick the 5th-year option up. And what would Carter's 5th-year option be? It's going to be a hefty number because he's made an all-pro team. So you're talking about what? $29 million? 5th-year option cost for Jalen Carter. It's going to be 27.4. His 5th year. He's going to be making more than Jordan Davis. 27.4 versus 26. Eagles are going to do that all day. Rosenhaus is like this. Yeah, well, you're 10 million shy. I mean, you're 10 million shy, Junior. We better change the play calling because I wouldn't want to play for that offense last year either. I get why AJ's upset. Dude, AJ Brown, in my opinion, will not be on this football team in September. And then when you lose that guy, it is a rebuild. I didn't say frown. That's not a right word. I say I have questions. He's a two-down guy. You frown on the signing of Davis, but how do we know that they went to Clint Hurt, who's going to be the future DC, and ask his opinion? Who they like better? I think that Jordan Davis is easier to coach, and I think he enjoys coaching him more than Jalen Carter. I think Jalen Carter can be arrogant at times. I think he's tough to coach, according to what I'm hearing. A lot of people like him. It's not a character attack on him. Jordan Davis is a better guy to coach. Seals, the only issue with Carter that is controllable is the maturity level. Clint is in a position, is his position coach. Any insight? Yeah, I'm not going there. That I don't want to say, because that's not fair. That would be undressing a little bit. What Clint likes the kid. We'll leave it there. Clint likes the guy, Jalen Carter. So you're telling me there's zero chance Hurts improves if the Eagles move AJ? Well, how many years has he been in the league now, Des? What are we going on, 7? What do you expect to see? What do you expect to see that's going to be different? Don't you kind of know what he is? I mean, if Zebra has the same stripes, I think Jalen Hurts will continue to get smarter, but skill set wise, he's not going to get any better. He is who he is. He's got his ways of winning games. It looks different. He doesn't win games like everyone else. He has to rely on more people around him, which is not a bad thing. But I'll tell you what he does do. I'll say this to you about your quarterback. I think your quarterback has to rely on a lot of people around him. But I think your quarterback does get out of what he needs to win games with people around him. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think Lamar Jackson utilizes the talent he has around him. You got Derrick Henry in your backfield, and you don't run that fucker in the fourth quarter to run the clock out, and you're throwing the football? Why? You're stopping the clock, surrendering possessions, allowing the other team to get back in ball games. Is dumb play calling and dumb quarterbacking. That doesn't help you win games. How are we officially in a rebuild? I think it's a soft rebuild. I do. What if moving AJ helps Hurts distribute the ball better, but not only have AJ? That is a philosophy too. What you're talking about, Nick, is not having a primary target. And see, I think one of the things that has hurt that offense since Barkley came is that when you have a primary target like AJ, and all of a sudden you have a running game going, you can't have both. Unless you have an elite quarterback. Nick believes in a system. That's why all these new hires make sense. Nick believes in his system of doing it. Nick doesn't run the offense, the passing game through AJ. He doesn't run the passing game through him. Nick runs the passing game through Nick. It's a flaccid rebuild. Other GM telling Howie, you used to be a good kid. I actually think Jalen Hurts is better in up-tempo. I do. I think when he has to sit back and look for pre-snap, I think it becomes a problem for him because they design it where they disguise it. I think when he goes up-tempo and they can't set that defense and they can't use those as guys' coverages. I think he's better than that. Mike Cannon. Carter makes bad decisions. Not sold on him. Like going under anesthesia to get full body tattoos, unnecessary risk. Not a bad analogy. Chip Mad Howie might move his boy. Not a rebuild or depth graduated, and we need to restock and not rebuild. When you need an edge. Let me say this. If you lose A.J. Brown and you lose Jalen Phillips, you tell me what you think. Can you recover from that? What's going on, bro? This is not the same Howie I remember. Hey, James, being a great GM year in and year out, when you get to a spot and you got to start re-signing guys. Do you guys remember a couple of years ago when the Rams, remember when the Rams had all that money, dude? What was that? That was the Todd Gurley days. And they had all that money that they owed. And they had to push all their chips in. They had a couple bad years in there. Well, when they went to the Super Bowl. Then when the Stafford thing came, they put the credit card back on the table again. And then remember what they did? They had another couple down years there, then they came back. That's kind of where the Eagles are right now. You know, I mean, it's not bad, but you're kind of there, you know? Better draft. You don't need to make splashes. You rather draft poorly and make splash signings. Draft better. You don't need to make splashed. You'd rather draft poorly and make splash signings. What are you talking about? Who said anything about drafting poorly? I think this guy's all pissed off because he thinks when you sign a guy on Thursday, April 23rd, automatically that guy's a great player. And he thinks that guy's a great player without watching him play. And I'm assuming he thinks splash plays and free agency are better signs. Today they are. I don't know what you're talking about, actually. It's kind of fucked up. But then again, I expect it. Let's see here. Big Seals, the NFL is a trendy league. Not for long. Not long ago, it used to be Howie was only one wheeling and dealing at free agency. It was boring. Now look, Howie's on the outside looking in. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think the money's got a lot to do with that. Okay? I do. I'm saying when you draft better, you don't need to go big. Okay. Twiz, you're right. That's right, Twiz. Twiz, I still believe to this day, because Tony Dungy told me this. I think free agency is more of filling gaps. When you don't have something and you miss in free agency. But what happens when you miss in free agency? You miss those rookie deals. You know, people still to this day don't get the catastrophic loss you had by picking Jalen Reagor and not Justin Jefferson. It wasn't just that you missed the player. Follow along, guys. Not that you missed the player. You missed the 3 years of rookie contracts that you had a $35 to $40 million a year player and you had him on a rookie deal. You missed those 3 years of money being able to go other places on your team. Why? Because you went and got AJ, gave a 1-up and $30 million up. That's what happens when you miss on a pick, like Justin Jefferson. It's the 3 years and the money and the draft pick. Do you realize how expensive A.J. Brown has been to the Eagles because of the Rager pick? You lost a 1 in a trade. The Saints gave you the 1. You paid all that money and $32 million, and Rager was a bust. And Jefferson's a transitional player. All of that over a 5-year period cost you probably $120 million and 2 first-round picks. So when you do that, again, that's why when you land on a guy like a Jordan Mailata in the 7th, that's a grand slam pick. You're not paying him a lot. He's eventually going to be a $25 million guy. You get him for 3 years, making little money, making no money at all. It's a great pick. If Howie can extend Carter now, but remember, you got another guy on the other side in Drew Rosenhaus. You think Drew Rosenhaus is telling Jalen Carter, hey, Jalen, you should sign this $28, $29 to $30 million deal. You should sign that deal right now. Yeah, but wait a minute. I'm a $35 million guy. Okay? I'm a $35 million guy. Well, hang on here. Okay? I want to give you guys, this is a pretty good stat number that just got thrown to me here on Bradley Chubb, and I told you he's a better player than Jalen Phillips. None of you believe me. Sack numbers through the years. 2023, Bradley Chubb, 11 games. No, 16 games played, 11 sacks. Phillips in 23. 4 games, 1 sack. 2024, Bradley Chubb missed the season. Jalen Phillips played 17 games, 5 sacks. 2025, Bradley Chubb, 8.5, played 17 games. Jalen Phillips, 5 sacks, 18 games. Both have connections with Vic. Chubb, in my opinion, is a better player. I think he is a better player. I think he's been a better player his entire career. That's right. Again, today was tough because on one hand, he's right not to give 30. On the other hand, you got worse. You got to fix it. Carter can be moved, but we shouldn't. Dude, I don't want draft picks for Jalen Carter. Howie's comment that he made, what did he say? Dude, I mean, end of the day, you're trying to collect great players. You're not trying to move off of players. You know what I mean? There has been a ton of movement today. And I still think there's still signs out there where there's still some players out there. You know, it's funny. I wonder if Howie told all the Eagle guys, Goddard, it sure seems this. Goddard, Dean, those 2 dudes have not been picked up. I thought they would have been first hour guys. For them not to be first hour, I wonder if the Eagles are trying to work a deal for those dudes and trying to figure a way to keep those guys in the house. Because if you lose Dean and Phillips in the same day, you mean in college basketball, they're going to win the NCAA tournament. Not in football. Correct? All right, guys. My great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number 1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. They have collected over $30 billion in recovery for clients across the country. I tell you this all the time. Make no mistake about it. You know, this firm was built for what? For defending families across the country. I tell you all the time about that family here in Pennsylvania. Excuse me, that was initially offered $650K and ended up getting nearly $30 million in a settlement Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Keep an eye on JAKIB and Xander because these deals could fall at any time. And there's no doubt there's been no movement on the Eagle side yet. So keep an eye on that. I think there's yet a lot to be played out by 4 o'clock on Wednesday, too. So I think there's another day, and then you start to pare down where there's not as much talent. So appreciate you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow going 2 to 6, and we'll catch you on the flip side.